It's been a long time since I've been able to come on and give a message like this. And the reason I can do that is because, like you, I go through things. I have moments where I question things and I'm not at my strongest. But I also understand this, that my true strength lies in my ability to ask for help. Don't take much, don't require much, simply just requires me to open my heart and my mouth and tell someone I need help. If you're somebody who are thinking of harming yourself or harming somebody else, take a second to just think. Reach out and get help. 3 numbers, 988, will get you to somebody who can assist you. I'm asking you to do the impossible because I know it's possible. I'm asking you to be stronger than you thought you ever can be. Every day is not going to be perfect. Every road is not going to lead to something shiny. There are moments that are going to feel like you've been broken into too many pieces. But you survived them once, twice, and 3,000 times over. And it's because your greatest power has been in your ability to not give up. So don't give up now. Contact the National Suicide Prevention Crisis Line at 988 and stay, because tomorrow needs you. Now let's talk football.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Pride Nation, what up, though? Welcome back, man. I'm so glad to be back. Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand the therapy that this is for me. Y'all don't understand the mood that I was in. Let me just give y'all a quick update on why I was MIA for so long, okay? It was a reason why I was MIA for so long. So anybody who's been following me, who has supported me, who has rocked with me, been a part of this process, has known that every year I go through a number of different situations, and I come on and I tell them. I know just 2 years ago, I had a best friend commit suicide. I had lost my oldest brother. It was just a lot. I had a lot of people pass away. To kind of let you know where I've been to 10 funerals from the end of basically from October 7th all the way up until about 2 weeks ago. 10 funerals. And it started weighing on me. It started truly weighing on me to a point where I told myself I need a break. I couldn't come on here and use this as my therapy. I just needed a break to focus on me, to focus on my mental ability, my emotional wellness. And I got to tell you that it was necessary and it worked. Okay. And again, I wanted to talk sports the entire time. I wanted to be able to, just talk about the Lions, but my mind was not in it. My heart wasn't in it. It was with my family members and my friends and their family members who I lost. And that's what it really boiled down to. That's what it really made. And that's where I've been. That's where I've been, just getting it together. So I'm back. I'm good. I appreciate the support. It was a number of people who just reached out to me and checked on me, and it meant a lot. It was important to have that support and to have you all, to be honest with you. And it just is what it is. But I'm here. I'm standing. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to have people hate me again. I'm ready to have people challenge me. I'm ready to have people go after me. I'm all here for it. Everything is good. So like I said, 10 funerals in a very short period of time. From another brother to a grandfather to cousin to friend, you name it. I was going through it, right? I'm good. Let's talk football because I got a lot to cover. I got to do a lot of catching up, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. But you know me, I can't do this without going through and doing a roll call. I got to see who's in the building with me. And the only way I can do that is if you post some type of message to let me know you here, and I go from there. We got Barbary Line in the building. Vash Star Winners in the building. 1991 Matt Stagg. Thank you for checking on me, brother. I really appreciate it. My man Dan talks football. Shout out to my man Dan in the building. Dan be over there getting it in, man. Dan still be over there helping y'all with y'all sports betting and all y'all other questions, covering all 32 teams and trying to set y'all up for success. And if you don't know, you will soon enough because it is linked in the description. So go and subscribe to my man Dan Talks Football. Sheldon McCrae's in the building with me. BD Buster's in the building with me. My man Billy Venable says, "Where you been, my brother? What's up, bro?" Hey, I'm here. I'm here now. Looney Tune is in the building. Chrome is in the building. One Funky Lions fan is in the building. Craig Ferguson, shout out to you for checking on me, sir. Appreciate it. Gino is in the building. Frank is in the building. Eagle fans got robbed. They did not get robbed. That call was the right call. He actually did grab him. He didn't even have to. He didn't have to. He grabbed him. I don't even know why he did it, but it's the right call. My man Anthony is in the building from Roar the Lions, UK. So what else going on, brother? That's my brother from another mother. We may look a little different, but that's just because he got the better genes. That's all it was. He got the better genes. He got the better ball head than I do. That's all. Okay. D-Map Zuna's in the building. We got my man's Big T. Big T. Let me just go ahead and just do this right now. Let me just go ahead and do this real quick and get this set all up, and then we can get to it. I want y'all, I'm going to leave that up there, and then I'm going to go through and show you the rest of it. We got my man Makai Holt in the building. DeAndre Baker is in the building. Ramon the New Age is in the building. He says, YouTube will burn you out. Got to take care of your mental health. 100%. Crimson Shadows in the building. Frank is in the building. Let me see. Bill Collar is in the building. Let me see. Make sure I ain't miss nobody. Motown Football is in the building. In the Mix is in the building. Darren Houston is in the building. Darth Twerk is in the building. Elizabeth, I'm gonna botch this damn last name. Elizabeth, you know what? I'm going for it. I'm sorry, y'all know this. Nothing is changing there. But Elizabeth Yoderman. I know I botched your name. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. I'm sorry. Black Spirit is in the building. Let's see. Jack Frost is in the building. Hey. Just happy everybody's back. Now, let me get back to my man, Big T, who got the question of Hutch. Who got that question up there? To catch up on everything, I always do every year an annual pick'em league where we can basically battle each other to see who can pick these damn games right. And I got Big T name up there for a reason because this year's winner, like his name, is Big T. So shout out to my man, Big T, for winning the pick'em league. Big T came through by one game, by the hair of his chinny chin chin, and he managed to lock up this year's winnings for the Pick'em League. Shout out to you for getting that done. If you want to see the top 5 or top 10, CB, I don't know who CB is. I never seen the name on the YouTube channel, so I can't say it, but he's number 2 or she's number 2, so shout out to them. Black Spirit is number 3. Shout out to Black Spirit, whether he or she, I can't remember. Tactical Puma is number 4. Shout out to him. Blue Jay Sarge is number 5. Radio AM is number 6. Beast Form is number 7. That Dude Live is number 8. Shout out to him. Pendicini Envy, Roar the Lions, is number 9. And rounding out at 10 is Shade. Now, in case you're wondering where my ass landed, I struggled. I'm in the top 15, but I am at 12. Did not do well at all. But Hangover Gang is at number 11. But Gino is at 13. Dirty Glove is at 14. And Steel Curtain, we got a Steelers fan in there who's at that number 15 on the Pick'em League. Again, let's see who's at our bottom. Sky Guy, who just forgot to make any damn pick, is tied number 1 with my man, Will, who forgot to make a damn pick. Jimmy Stoneful, who got 7 picks in. We, shout out to you, wonderful people, for at least remembering. Undone Gravy got 8 of them in there with many. JGB, I know he just forgot to put his picks in, but my man's is down there. He's also in that top 5, top 10 list. So I want to put it out there. But our winner this year is my man Big T. Shout out to you, sir, on winning the Pick'em League. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to piss a few of y'all off today, FYI. Just get used to it. But I'm starting this off from the Lions beating the Packers. I'm going to make it quick and get right into it. And then you will understand where I'm coming from on a lot of this stuff. Simply put, it's like this. Here's my thoughts on the Lions. She said, perfect. Hey, I tried it. I tried it. That's our guy, Steve. Got it. Okay. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, who in the hell is Pennicini Envy? Steve, shout out to Steve. Listen, I'm going to get Steve to do a hip-hop show. I know Steve heard the news about De La Soul, artist who passed away yesterday at the age of 54. So I was meaning to reach out to him and find out thoughts on it. But yeah, my man Steve be out here with the hip-hop love 100%. Here's my thoughts on the Lions beating the Packers. Great, right? I'm not going to overblow it and everything. My biggest takeaway from that game was how many things they were not calling for the Packers. I'm trying to figure out, like, when are y'all going to call a penalty against them? Because we were getting called so many penalties. I was like, yo, y'all going to call anything against them? I know we getting held. I thought Aiden Hutchinson in his final performance of the season was beautiful. And I thought even the final performance of James Houston was beautiful. They literally gave him a veteran's treatment. They capped 2 or 3 people chipping him and on his side, and I appreciated that. And it was nice to see Aiden Hutchinson win those one-on-one battles. I thought that the game was a joy to watch, and I was excited for it. Outside of that, I can care less about it being Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't in particularly all hyped up or super crunk about, he's got a 3rd interception against Aaron Rodgers. Don't care. I don't. Aaron Rodgers had a bad year. I'm happy he did, and I hope it stay that way. But outside of that, don't care, right? That was my thoughts on that. On that. The end of the season awards. It was simple. My MVP on the season was Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just thought that for all the praise and the love and the hype that goes to the quarterback, there was one receiver who made his life so much easier, and that was Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think I saw some kind of stat that said he only dropped like 1 or 2 passes on 3rd down. That's crazy. 1 or 2 passes on 3rd down that he like. That's nuts. So he got my MVP. My defensive MVP was James Houston. I have a lot of respect for a person who can do a lot in a small period of time. And that guy was somebody who did a lot in a very short period of time. My overall season opinion, I was disappointed. And my disappointment is because I believe that this team was better than 9 wins. Many Lions fans argued with me, told me I was delusional. I've lost my mind, that they're going to win 6 games and they won't be no better than 8 and 9. And I went, they could easily win 10 to 12 games. Like, I'm expecting them to win 10 to 12 games. My final prediction was 10 and 7. They came up 1 game short, and yes, I'm disappointed about that. I'm sorry. To the people who may think that that's a little strange or just don't make sense, put it this way. If you was having sex and you almost got to a climax point and the person stopped, are you still satisfied? Chances is you're not. So let's just keep it the same way with these games. I had an expectation and it was not met. Now, if you had them at 6 games and they got more, you should be ecstatic. They did way better. You did way better than what your prediction was. And so I'm cool with that. All right. Like, I'm 100% cool with that. So, but for me, I was disappointed in the season. I was happy that they bounced back and finished with a winning record and showed some fight and showed some moxie. But when you start to look at things, tiebreakers came into play, and you literally lost because you couldn't beat literally 3 teams. And if you really look at it, If you beat these 3 teams, you're in the playoffs. The Panthers, the Seahawks, and you needed to beat like New England or another one of those AFC teams, like the Dolphins or something. You're in the playoffs. That's how simple it is. So that's just me. Let me see what other things I want to catch up on. I want to make sure I hit it all. I saw a lot of news about players not getting elected to the Pro Bowl, and this whole issue of why are people not getting elected to the Pro Bowl. To the people who follow the Pro Bowl, like the Pro Bowl and stuff, God bless you. But the Pro Bowl means diddly squat. Okay? Diddly squat. I can care less about the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is so trash that you can literally vote at least 100 times if you just had a few more emails. And in most, I think you can vote up to 10 times a day. So, yeah. You know, Dark Twerk says, what is sex? If you don't know about that, brother, I can't help you. Okay, I can't help you with that. I said 8, 8, and 1. I would say skeptic. Hey, not mad at it. You know, you entitled to that view. You know, not mad at it at all. Not against what you're saying, Luke. Hey, if you against it, I'm okay with it. This is a day of rejoice. I'm good. Luke, if they force one punt against Seattle, they are in the playoffs. Don't get me started. But this whole thing about the Pro Bowl, it's a joke. I do not respect the Pro Bowl. I do not have any type of care in the world about Pro Bowls. Pro Bowls can miss me with it. You know, it is what it is. Oh, this is another one that jumped out to me. Aiden Hutchinson got robbed for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Let's stop this madness right now, okay? He was not robbed. No, I'm not a hater. Oh, you just a Michigan State fan. Oh, you just don't want to give Michigan any props. Oh, you a Lions hater. Oh, you just hate Aiden Hutchinson. You mad because he didn't take Kyle Hamilton. Whatever excuse you can say to yourself to make you feel better is cool. But let me go ahead and give you the facts. No player, I'm going to repeat this again. No player over the last 20 years, I'm going to say it again. I know we some hard hearing people in the back pews over there. No player in the last 20 years has won Defensive Rookie of the Year that did not at least make a Pro Bowl or All-Pro. Not one. Good luck trying to go find them. I've already done the research. I actually did it back to 30 years, but I gave you 20. No player in 20 years has won Defensive Rookie of the Year and not have made at least a Pro Bowl or a second team All-Pro of some sorts. Not one. And when you look at Aiden Hutchinson, he didn't make the Pro Bowl. He wasn't even elected to the original starting Pro Bowl. He wasn't elected as an alternate. And I know you were voting. I know Michigan fans were voting. I voted for him. I gave him a good 40, right? But at the end of the day, he didn't have that Pro Bowl. At the end of the day, he did not have an All-Pro. And the person who won it still should have won it. And we should still praise him. Even if he's not a Lion, he's from Detroit. And not the outskirts, but the actual Detroit. And after he won it, he gave Detroit love. But he should have won it. And I told you that he was going to win it after the Lions went against them and refused to throw his way. And when you get that kind of respect that a team avoids you like that, yeah, you're going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. When you are a rookie cornerback, which has a higher learning curve than defensive end, and you get voted to a first-team All-Pro, which was, by the way, the All-Pro was voted on by the players. The players had their All-Pro list plus the Associated Press. And you get voted to the All-Pro by both, you deserve to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. So, just putting it out there, he was not robbed. He had a good season. Let's be happy he had that. Maybe he can win Defensive Player of the Year next year. But in terms of Defensive Rookie of the Year, he was not robbed. I got to go through a list of this stuff. I'm trying to cover it all quickly. Lions lost Deuce Staley. My thoughts on it. Okay. My trust is in Dan Campbell. Do I hate to see him go? Sure. Do I understand why he left? Yes. He's going to take care of his mother. He wants to be closer so he can be closer to his mother. Maybe her days are numbered. I don't know. But in this thing called life, life is short. And more importantly than anything about life is family. And I would never judge a person who moves on for family. And at the end of the day, he chose to go for family, and I'm okay with that. And they replaced him with a guy named Scotty Montgomery. And my thoughts on that is, so what? Don't care. My trust is in Dan Campbell. But my biggest thing was that Scotty Montgomery was named assistant head coach. And to me, this is great. This is 100% great. Because all I care about is knowing that you're not giving more attention to a guy who's already got a lot of attention. I think there's an article out now talking about, Kansas City used the play from the Lions to score. Okay, people borrow plays all the time. Don't really give a flying about it. But I don't want people to get too caught up in the idea that Ben Johnson needs to be taken right away. See, I want to keep Ben Johnson for at least another year past this one. I want to keep it together. You know what I mean? It's like the Blues Brothers. We're getting the band back together. And so I was happy with that. The Lions also add Brett Fisher, Director of Player Performance and Health. Here's my thoughts on that. Don't give two flying nickels. I could have easily Googled what the hell is player performance and health. Didn't care to. I don't care. My trust is in Dan Campbell. Don't care. The Lions also added Dre Bly. My thoughts on that. Okay. Could you have some question marks about it? Sure. But there were question marks about most of the coaches that we added. And at the end of the day, I'm okay with it as long as he can get more out of the players. I'm cool with it. As long as he can get more out of the players, I'm cool with it. They also added, what is his name? Steve Hayton for tight end coach. I hope they go out and hire a tight end because I don't know who in the hell he's supposed to be coaching. I'm sorry. I don't know. Don't tell me about no damn Williams. All right. I don't want to hear it. Don't tell me about the tight ends we get. I don't even think you can do much coaching with. I just don't. I don't think you can do too much coaching with. They also went out and hired JT Barrett as an assistant quarterback coach. You know that former Ohio State quarterback that made it to the league, and they tried him at a few different spots like receiver and stuff like that. That JT Barrett and quarterback and all that good stuff. My thoughts on that is don't care. We need to get our team up. My biggest takeaway from all the coaches that they brought in and that we lost and all that stuff is he's creating opportunity for people who would have never otherwise had those opportunities. When he named Scotty Montgomery assistant head coach, he knows that this is something that allows for Scotty Montgomery to get close to his own dream of being a coordinator and then head coach in the NFL. When he goes out and get a quarterback coach and JT Barrett, who's trying to make his way up the charts too, he knows that he can learn from Brunel. And guess what? Chances is, if Brunel does get picked up, we already got a successor there. So it's good planning on the part of them. When you go out and you add people who have opportunity, that's all I can care about. Nothing else, nothing more. Okay? So I covered the coaches. I've covered Aiden. I'm making sure I ain't missed nothing now. The Lions going to be able to keep both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. This is probably the best news I've had all off season, all year. Continuity is important. People don't understand how important it is. You wonder why a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers keep having winning records. It's because they've only had 3 head coaches in their entire existence. They don't fire head coaches. They allow the process to work itself out. You're going to have some ups. You're going to have some downs. But guess what? It's a continued process that they can build upon. And the Lions are finally understanding that, and it excites me. It gets me so pumped. It gets me so excited. Okay? You know. Oh, this is another one. I gotta get on this one too. So everybody and their mother wants to talk about the Brad Holmes thing. And oh, Luke, you want to get rid of Brad Holmes. Well, yeah. You were giving Brad Holmes a hard time. Yeah. Because everything I pointed out the truth. When we were 1-6, every single person was screaming how dumb of a head coach Dan Campbell is. And that the problems were with Dan Campbell. And you got to get rid of Dan Campbell. And then I started asking questions. And in fact, me and Dr. Detroit, shout out to him, had a very wonderful conversation. I should have made that damn thing short. I still might do it. Had a very good conversation in which I pointed out a few hard facts. That everything that he did, free agency, trades, and all, were for the betterment of Jared Goff. His sole purpose was to build around Jared Goff. And that's a mistake because he took over a team who had a defense that was dead last and lacked serious talent. And he didn't get his first high defensive player until you were literally stuck second overall. And you were only picking second overall because your defense was hot garbage then. And you look at this past season, and they went 9-8, and the answer to why they went 9-8 and not won a division or not been in the playoff is directly tied to defense. A defense that he acted as though was good to go. You remember when he added Chris Board, a guy who should have never got a chance to start on this team, but somehow he did. Y'all remember that? A team whose defense is so bad that a 6th-round pick linebacker was given an opportunity. It's not very good. And many of the people that was brought in just simply were not good when you look at the defense side of the ball. And when everybody was talking about get rid of Dan Campbell, my attitude was, I don't blame the chef. He cooked with what he had to cook with. His side of the ball performed. I blame the person who went grocery shopping, asked for chili and brought you ingredients for an omelet. That's how I look at it. So, got all that covered. Let me see. What else am I forgetting? Oh, I got to cover this too. Trying to catch up, people. Trying to catch up. Which free agents should be re-signed? This is the easiest question that I ever had. It took a lot of work and energy for me to figure this out. And I'm going to tell you the free agents that we should re-sign. This is probably going to upset a lot of you. So take a moment to just reflect on this. You will be all right. Okay? You will be all right. Number 1 on my list that need to be re-signed is Evan Brown. That's right, the center/guard. And I'll explain to you why. He's going to be cheap. He knows the system. He's not going to act like all diva-ish. And guess what? You're probably going to re-sign him to a 1 to 2 year deal. And if somebody go down, he can cover 2 spots. And it ain't going to cost you nothing. You pay more money to a wide receiver for 1 year than you did him. You paid more money to Chris Board, who really couldn't do much but what he's always done, which is be on special teams, than you did him. You paid more money to Josh Woods. You can pay Evan Brown. He's number 1. Number 2 person who should be re-signed, and you're not going to like it. And I know people are going to say, oh, you have lost your mind. You have completely fell off the smart train. It's Amani Oruwariye. Oh, look, you lost your mind. He sucks. He's no good. He's hot garbage. Did y'all forget where he was drafted at? I need to remind you where he was drafted at. Did you forget that he showed signs of success? But I believe he was playing hurt this year. And not only do I believe he was playing hurt, I believe, why are we just going to get rid of somebody who I believe is still better than Will Harris? I mean, really, is it boiled down to them two? Because they're not going to keep both. So you either get Amani Oruwariye or Will Harris. You take your pick. I personally would move on from Will Harris. But all I'm saying is you got to keep one. You got to keep one. And at least Amani knows the system. At least Amani was playing hurt, and I believe that that's what the problem was. Everybody else can go because Amani's going to come back cheap. Evan Brown's going to come back cheap. And I want to use that money to get real dogs on our defense. My man Anthony say every day that goes by, we a day closer to Will Harris release date. Silver lining and all. I'm just, tell the truth and shame the devil. I feel that if I got to keep one of them two, because they're going to keep one of them two for depth. They're going to keep one of them two for depth. Hands down. But you pick and choose. My man Don 19 says, press 1 if you two should ban Luke. If you two should ban Luke. And leave it to Dr. Detroit to quickly press 1. The audacity. Shame on you. The audacity. But it's the reality. And the reality is look, let's keep it 100. Okay? I'm running through these because I'm getting ready to throw the link out there so y'all can come in and talk y'all talk. It's open for everything. My man Will, shout out to you, Will. He says, rather take Will Harris, who can play 3 positions, than Amani, who will be a third string to start the year. I don't trust Will Harris at safety, and I don't trust him at corner. What's this third position you speak of? If it's clipboard holder, I agree. He can hold the clipboard from a distance, make him a coach. I don't care. But what he can't do is come back to this team and get on the field. I don't want him on special teams. I don't want this man nowhere near it. I've seen enough of him. He's had moments, but those moments were so short and in between. It's like, come on. Just saying. So if you're telling me that, hey, he's got that moxie, he's got that that do-all and stuff, I get it. I ain't killing nobody on their opinions today. But if you telling me I got to keep between Will Harris and Amani, yeah, I'm taking Amani. Hands down. I'm taking Amani. It's just, I don't see a reason to force yourself into something that you don't need to have. And to me, forcing yourself to keep Will Harris because you think he can play multiple positions is cool. The question is, can he play them comparable? And in my opinion, he cannot. He just cannot. He has tried. He just cannot. But outside of that, I would let DJ walk because that's what you brought Jamison in for, and you still get St. Brown, who everybody just somehow did not think could be a number 1, number 2. I don't know what the hell they were talking about, but whatever. But yeah, I would. You already got him. You still got Reynolds under the contract. You still got Raymond, I think, might be still under contract for 1 more year. And you can, if you really need to add a receiver, get one in free agency that's going to cost less than $10 million a season. Sorry, not sorry. Jamal Williams, love him. He did a wonderful job for us. He's rapping to people. But at the end of the day, we can upgrade that. If you're telling me I can find some kind of way to bring in Josh Jacobs because the Raiders have lost their mind and are doing the same thing that Patricia did to our team, yeah, then I'm taking Josh Jacobs. Oh, but Williams has been more healthy. But Williams is not a threat. That's my only thing. He's not a threat. He's a very good back. But I don't think he's going to give us a hometown discount. Not after that season. I mean, if you can go to somebody and say, I broke Barry Sanders' record for touchdowns, you giving out hometown discounts? Yeah. That's a toughie. That's a toughie. So I'm just saying, love the guy. I just think that, you got to weigh your options in terms of the money you're going to spend and how long you keeping people. He was. Craig says he was the best number 2 running back we had in years. Also, the link is in the description. If you want to jump in and join the show and talk sports with me, you just simply have to do that. And we're in here. We talk about anything you want. First person that's in the building is Crimson Shadow. I believe I've caught up, Crimson. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Hey, long time no see, but I know we were still talking in the Discord chat.
Oh, yeah, a little bit here and there.
And you doing good. You've went through a few battles yourself and look amazing.
Thank you. My hair is back. It looks all beautiful, luscious. Soon I'll be able to put it in a ponytail.
Now, to the people who don't know, You want to tell them a little bit of your story or why I'm telling them you look good and went through a battle and kicked his ass?
Last year, and I was going through cancer, and I went through, had my chemo treatments, and to this day, on 2023, I'm still cancer free, and I've still
shout out to that.
I've still got the port in my chest just in case, nothing would suck. Hey, it's back. I have to re-put it back in.
But you here and you look good, so that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and I want people to know that even when the worst of the worst moments come about, your strength and your willingness to fight will beat and conquer most things. So shout out to you and congrats on beating the odds and letting it be known that hey, if you challenge me, you will lose, and that's the best part about it, sir.
Thank you, and thank you to the community as well. You guys were great,
100%. Now, what you got for me? Because I know you want to talk draft.
You see me in the Discord chat? Do you know how many fucking things I post?
I know you want to talk it. Shout out to me. Hold on, let me do this really quick before you get going. My man, I hope I said his name. Rail Jackson. He says, I believe our Detroit Lions and we'll win a Super Bowl with Dan Campbell. The NFL rigged, fixed, more fake than WWE.
Dude, a lot of my coworkers think it now.
You say Arian Foster was right. He got the script.
Hey, sometimes this stuff is kind of crazy. I can't deny. Some stuff that happens is way too convenient at times.
I ain't said that. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Shoot. What you was finna say?
I gotta ask. I mean, we shot you a bunch of names. Have you watched any film? Actually,
I watched all the names y'all sent me to. I've watched up to 4 games.
Okay. Anybody you've liked so far? I gotta ask. I mean,
the Pittsburgh D tackle. Clancy. Did they say his name?
Oh yeah, Clancy.
I'm with that. I'm with that one. On number 8 from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm with him all the way.
Oh yeah.
You see. Again, keep in mind, when I look at these players, I'm not looking at highlights. I don't care to see the best of your plays, right? I'm looking at every snap, and I want to see what you're doing that is going on. But I want to see, are you doing things from a technical standpoint? He had a nice little arsenal of pass rush moves that I like, and I watched him on double teams do something that I wish more D tackles and DNs would do, which is when they're double teaming you, grab their jerseys and pull them into you. And by pulling them into you, that allows the linebacker to just run. And so when that guy tries to pull away from you, you just got to release the guy from the opposite hand that's going the other way and run towards him as if though you're trying to get by him. So a little trick I learned from one of my favorite players, Warren Sapp, and it's 100%.
It probably worked for you in college, I'm certain.
Yeah. So, but he's somebody that stood out to me. The other guy that you guys sent me, Breezy.
Oh yeah, Breezy
or something like that. The
Brian Breezy from Clemson. Yes,
Clemson. Yeah, number 11.
He's compared to Aaron Donald. Really,
this is 100% false. This is
compare him to messenger.
I'm 3 games in. He don't have a lot of tape, but I'm 3 games in, and I don't see an Aaron Donald-esque player at all. I don't. What I see is, in my opinion, is a guy who's big. I see more of an Albert Haynesworth style player, a guy who will give you his all when he can give you his all, but he's probably going to be hurt a lot, and he's probably going to be out more than you think. I don't see Aaron Donald nothing out of him. Not him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because if I could say one of my personal favorite players I've watched a bit of film of him, would have to be Emmanuel Forbes from Mississippi State, cornerback. I've watched a good number of his film, and again, he's what I would call the opposite of Greedy Williams. That boy, he loves the heat. I love his speed. He's got in Mississippi State history, he's got the most pick sixes in Mississippi State history. I get it, that's not much, but hey, that's the same school that's very well known for developing top-tier cornerbacks. That's where Darius Slay came from. That dude, I see really good vision in him. I could see him developing into a really quality number 1 CB, and I could see him working.
I think the key word that you used for me was develop. So I watched him, like I said.
Well, all cornerbacks have to develop in the NFL.
tell that to Sauce Gardner.
Okay,
right?
that's a rarity. You know,
I'm just saying
that's rare.
I'm just saying, tell it to Sauce. But I'm just saying. But when I watched him, my biggest takeaway so far, and again, I'm not done looking at all these games. I want to look at more games on all these people. But my biggest issue with him was I saw where he just refused to look back at all.
I get what you're saying.
I mean, every chance he plays the receiver, and he don't do that well, right? And every now and then he does this little flailing thing where he just waves his arms and hope that he can knock something away. But I didn't like that he didn't look back for the ball too often. He gave a lot of free releases. That was another big pet peeve of mine, something that I chewed Okuda out about, that this free release of the line of scrimmage, mix it up, and it didn't happen. And overall, I did not feel like, in terms of his hand placements and a lot of that coverage, in my opinion, could have easily been called for pass interference or holding. But that's just me. Greedy the Amazing says, what you think of BJ Robinson? I think that's the running back from my favorite, second favorite school. Really is my number one, but I like Texas and I like Michigan State football. And you talk about the running back from Texas, I believe that is.
I know who he's talking about. What the heck's his name? It's a really weird name. And a lot of people.
Beijing, ain't it? Beijing?
Bijani. It's a weird name. I know it is Robinson.
I probably botched the name.
I'm looking the name up. I'm on the mock draft site right now.
I think it's Beijing Robinson. I know Anthony knows who's coming in right now. Anthony, what is his name? Beijing Robinson? How you pronounce his name?
Bijan. I think Bijan Robinson.
Bijan? That how you say it?
Bijan. Thank you.
Yeah, I just call him Mr. Robinson. I don't complicate things. I'm just gonna botch your name anyway. I don't complicate things. Shout out to my man Anthony, who shows up in the building with the new backdrop going on. You know what I mean? He's not hiding out in the sofa. He's got the whole setup. I got books going on back there, family photos, and a smile from Dave's brother. What's going on?
Hey, I had to come and pay homage to the better looking brother. I heard your nice words about me having the better ball cut earlier, but you are the better looking of the
man. You know you handsome. Stop playing, brother. Stop playing. Listen, it's crazy, man, because the draft talk, I wasn't trying to really avoid it. I usually don't talk draft to the end of the season, but life happens, and when life was life, and I was like, well, I guess I ain't got to talk about it because I don't feel like talking about it. But yeah, in terms of him as a running back, if you tell me I can get him in the second round, great. And I'm a Texas fan. I really don't want to see for the first 4 picks anything but defense.
I can agree with that.
I know it's going to sound crazy to the people. I know people are going to be like, what do you mean? There's only one exception to the rule. Because if I cannot trade out of that 6th pick, I'm taking a quarterback.
Oh, that's another question. Out of all the quarterbacks, what are you liking? I'm actually interested in this.
I like Hendon Hooker.
Ooh, okay. I did not expect that.
Would I take him at 6? No, he's hurt. But if he was healthy, I'd have took him in a heartbeat. I want somebody to challenge them and challenge Goff because I don't want him to ever get comfortable. And having a comparable backup is important. Nate Studfield does not do it.
Does not evoke fear.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Euro Jack says, who you want the Detroit Lions to draft at 6? At 6, it's not who I want per se, because I don't want them to draft anybody at 6. I want them to trade that pick. Give me a future first. You can have that pick. Give me a future first and an additional, something like a first, depending on what we're doing. And I'm excited. I'm happy.
Well. Question: what if a Jalen Carter or a Will Anderson falls to you? Then what happens if that somehow happens?
I don't think we should be drafting another edge rusher. I don't see why.
I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, are we going to have guys like? Are we going to have Kaminsky back? Are we going to have Bryant back? Are we going to have
Kaminsky play inside? So, if you notice I said edge rusher. I didn't say nothing about interior.
Okay.
So I said edge rusher. I love Will Anderson. Right? But no, I'm not drafting another edge rusher. I'm just not.
Okay, then we're going back to Jalen Carter. What do you think?
He won't make it to 6.
Yeah, I pray he does, but I doubt it too.
Yeah, he won't make it to 6, so ain't no reason for me to get my hopes up. At that point, I'm playing with fool's gold, and
Well, crazier things have happened in the draft. Look how far Josh Allen fell to the draft and went to the Jags.
One funky Lion fan says Hooker ain't challenging no one this season. It's not a matter of him. It's not a matter of him challenging anyone this season. We traded up 20 spots to take a receiver, 12th overall, and everybody had no issues waiting until December, where I thought it was going to be November, and many people wanted to tell me I was wrong. It's going to be late September, early October, but we all were wrong because he did. Not only did he tell all of us to hold his beer, he didn't show up until December. And when he did, we talk about the 2 big plays that he made, but we don't talk about all the damn drops that he had. And people are going to tell me he's a rookie and that, he was hurt. He didn't look hurt to me. He just dropped him. And at the end of the day, I don't want the excuses. He was taken 12th overall. Receivers' learning curve is not as high as other positions, and I expect more. So, yeah, we can wait on the quarterback to heal too. And at the end of the day, even if that quarterback is healed, he still challenges for that spot because guess what? I believe what Goff had could have been an outlier season. It could not have been. But let's just say for the sake of that it was. Yeah, how much you want to pay Jared Goff to keep this thing going?
Well, to be fair, I trust Hooker more than I would say trust Will Levis, and Stroud is just Goff Jr. That's just the way I look at it.
And Levis to me is a repeat of that. I'm gonna bring in my other guest, and then we're gonna really get into it. My man, Lions Rumble 81, who's back in Michigan, who's back up here in Michigan out here. He's back in the dirty glove. What's going on, my man Rumble?
Oh, I love the beard, man. Holy crap.
I can't hear him. He's muted.
Rumble.
I don't know if he's muted.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
know.
sorry, Curt.
Look, how you gonna be muted coming back in with the Kratos beard? You gotta come back in. We gotta try this again. Let's try this again.
Oh man, hello. What's up, you boy? What's up, y'all boys? Luke, Crimson,
Hey. What's
man.
going on?
Oh man, I'm glad to be back home, man. I can't even express that, man. So,
Hey,
man,
listen, it's nice to have you back, and it's nice to be back on talking ball,
of course.
and getting things done. So I'm finna get right into it because it's about everybody else. If you want to jump in, the link is in the description. Feel free to jump in. Whatever question you want to ask, you can do it. Anthony came in after my man's Crimson came in. So Anthony, what do you have for the people? Tell me what topic tickles your fancy? Because I know there's some things that you definitely want to talk about. I be watching you in the Discord chat. Nobody will check you faster than my man Anthony. You better not say something inaccurate or you will get checked quickly and swiftly. Anthony, what you got for the people?
I came on to see you. I've not had a chat with you in a while. Just checking everything's all right with you and everything's going on well. I miss our chats when you're not around. So
listen, I'm doing good. I needed that break though. You know how you can tell there's a moment in your life where you just need to just stop and focus on something. I needed that break. So that's 100% what it is. And yeah, it was necessary for me to do it and get things right. Luke, you said you like Hooker and you said you want someone to challenge Goff. Those two don't add up. I like Hooker and I'm okay if they draft him, but it don't meet your criteria. I'll tell you why I do. Okay. I'll tell you why I do. If Hooker comes in, right, and let's say Goff goes down in November, I think Hooker will be able to play, right? And I think what will end up happening is Hooker will still meet the criteria because Hooker can do something that Goff could not do necessarily all the time, which is get going, get mobile, get the pocket move. Where it becomes a push for him is because at that point, I have a young quarterback who I can look at, similar to what's going over in Green Bay. They're starting to look at Jordan Love like, oh, this is a real option. Jordan Love with a veteran presence, we can move on and get draft capital, or maybe even take another quarterback to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And so to me, I feel like that meets the criteria. But I'm not mad at you if you don't believe that that's the case. I'm not mad at it at all.
Well, where are you comfortable with taking him? I doubt you're going to say take him at 6 or 18.
I mean, why not? We took another hurt players before, right?
But is that, I don't know, taking him at 18 or 6 would just kind of
what? You took a hurt receiver at 12 who couldn't help you.
Yeah, but if Hooker wasn't hurt, would he have been valued that high?
I think he would have.
That
Mobile,
age,
a mobile.
it's that age that gets me. That 25 is what gets me.
So 25. What about it for a quarterback with this offensive line? That offensive line right there just put 2 more years on him. He's straight. What you talking about?
2 more years.
2 to 3 more years.
Like it's the fountain of youth.
Listen, what I'm saying is this: if you move, let's say Decker decide that next year he wants to be traded, we trade Decker. You move Sewell over to the left tackle spot. You could easily find you another right tackle to fill in, and you got your guard and your center still present. I mean, seriously, you're going to end up drafting you another guard. All I'm saying is I'm okay with 18. I mean,
I would like Osiris Torrance personally, just to get a replacement for Vitae, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, again, William said, I thought we didn't like taking hurt players, though. You don't like the JMO pick because of the injury. Wouldn't make sense to do the same at 6. That's the whole thing I think you're missing, William. It's called sarcasm. It may have went over your head, but it's called sarcasm. The question that he asked me was, if he was healthy, do I think he would have been picked high? I do. But he's not. And my only argument is at this point, every other Lion fan was ready to hand out A++ grades for a receiver who couldn't do nothing for us until December. So why are you going to stop there? And yes, I still do like Hendon Hooker, but because he's hurt, I prefer that we take him in the later round. The earliest I would even risk taking a Hendon Hooker would be in the second round with that last second-round pick. But outside of that, no. But I'm just being facetious. In other words, I'm saying, look, y'all don't have a problem taking these other hurt players, and he already fit the criteria. A hurt player who's a captain. Bingo, that's a Brad Holmes guy, right? Anthony, that's the formula, right? A captain who's hurt. Am I right?
I'm
just saying.
I can see why you'd think like that, but no. For me, you've got a balance. It's all about character with these guys. You have to have a certain character to be a Brad Holmes pick.
Okay.
I think you will be able to weed out the guys you will like if you hear them interview, because you think about the guys he's got, the Pennes, the Amon-Ra's, they're very driven, they're very ambitious. Malcolm, it doesn't matter where you find them in the draft, whether it's round 1 or round 6, they're driven, they're ambitious, looking to get better. They've got very high ceilings and they seem to be able to get players up to them. So, and I fully believe it's the same, even with the injured guys. If Levi comes back and does well, Pascal, if he has a breakout second year, you're like, well, okay, I will accept one bad year of him being injured and then not playing well because of the type of guy he's picked. It's nothing to do with injuries. I think it's kind of like the Dan Campbell, the Dan Campbell personality mixed with a very high ceiling. I think those are the sort of guys he goes after.
Listen, I gotta get myself together for this because my next guest coming in. He rarely comes on, but when he comes on, he comes on. And when he comes on, I get excited because if I did bet, I'm not saying I did, I don't promote gambling, but if I did bet, I would certainly listen to this man right here. And that is one Dan Talks Football. Dan, what is going on, my brother?
Man, Luke, man,
listen.
man, when I saw you, I still got the notification that you were coming on. I was like, oh, hell yeah, this is going to be a great Monday. I mean, I'm still recovering from the Super Bowl. For those of you who don't know, I've been a Chiefs season ticket holder since 1989. I sat through some bad years. I said, yeah, I'm not one. See, here's the thing, like about 85 to 90% of Chiefs fans are like, oh yeah, we're longtime Chiefs fans. It's been ever since 2015 when Mahomes got here, and it's like, oh, come on now.
No, yeah, they don't understand how deep my Lion fandom, my Lions, Bucks, Seahawks, Texas, Michigan State fandom go. It's old love, right?
Yeah, you've been Joe Montana days. Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, before then, man, there was Steve the Berg. I remember Dave Craig was here. Oh man, I sat through some rough patches, and now looking at the dynasty and the People are calling it now the script because we got the cheat code in Mahomes.
But it was no cheat code. Listen, if you listen, the thing that I love about this whole idea that it was scripted, that it was cheated, I'm telling you, the biggest mistake was this dude had a manageable down, and because he wanted to save timeouts, took a delay of game. That play was pivotal. Like, it was a big play.
You know what nobody's talking about, and if you were going to call it rigged, here's what you do. Okay, you have a great pass rush, have a shitty field. But
Right.
Nobody
Yeah.
but that field was garbage.
Yep.
And you got a front four that had 70 sacks in the regular season. I mean, that's all-time great category. And then what do? You play on the worst possible field. Josh Sweat, I think, fell down like 15 times. Theo Riddick fell down like 7 times. I mean, there you go. It's not easy, or it's pretty easy to pass protect when the guy's flat on his ass. So
reality hurts.
But
No, but I'm saying it's a lot of things you can look at that went wrong in that game. He got out coached. That's the first thing that they did. He got out coached, and there's no other way I saw it to where I just say he got out coached. But I rest the case. Let me hit this comment really quick, then I get back to you, Dan. Frank says, "I'm excited for J-Mo." Excuse me. He said, "I'm excited for J-Mo, but I think his character will not match what Holmes and Campbell demands." I agree. I saw a guy who, when the play was not going his way, he did not run hard. He didn't. He didn't run hard. He didn't run the routes hard. He didn't look like he cared at all. But when the play went his way, he ran hard. He ran vicious, and he wanted to make sure that he was in his spot so he can get the ball. But when the ball not going his way, I didn't see a guy who had that. And then I saw a little bit of a diva attitude on certain plays where I'm like, oh, okay. But that's just me, Frank. I'm in agreement with you.
I mean, he is a wide receiver, kind of fits the bill.
Yeah, but that's the problem. Not, St. Brown's a wide receiver. I don't feel no diva coming up out of him.
Okay, to be fair, if he acted like a diva, his dad would come down the stands and beat the living crap out of him.
But again, either way it go, it still stands. I don't want to see it. That's all I'm saying. But Dan, give me something for the show. We're talking Lions end of the season recap. Obviously, we're talking draft, but whatever you want to put out there, put it out there.
Well, I'm here. I wanted to talk a little bit about draft. I wanted to hear what you guys were thinking. I want to hear what Lions fans are thinking, because when I look at the draft, pick number 6 is kind of the pick that you're looking at, and you're going, what the hell do you do? Because I'm looking at, I've seen some crazy stuff here. I've seen Bijan Robinson, Brees. I've seen a lot. I've seen a corner. I've seen a quarterback, and it's funny. Like, by the way, man, I feel bad here because I heard the story, man. I'm looking. Crimson's got that cool hair, which I'm jealous of. I don't even have cancer. I can't grow hair like that.
Yeah, my hair is back thicker. Believe it or not. What's my secret? Chemo.
I'm gonna disagree with you, and I feel bad about it because Stroud is my number 1 quarterback going into the draft.
Oh, really? That's
Absolutely. And what I like about him is not what you have on the field. Watch him at the Heisman ceremony. He looks almost bored. Every time you look at him in an interview, he's just calm and collected, just ice water through his veins. He just flatlines. I love the kid's composure. But then while I watch him against Georgia, I'm looking at, I'm keep in mind, he's got a bunch of NFL talent there, but Georgia's best defense in the country, and he's just ripping through them. I like, as far as the tape, Young's the better quarterback, but I think he's going to measure out at being 6 foot 195. That's not going to cut it in the NFL. So Stroud, I think, is going to be about 220. I think he could throw every pass. I want to know from you guys, because if CJ Stroud, he's my quarterback number 1, but let's say you think it's Bryce Young. Let's say you think it's Levis or Levis. I always get names wrong. I want to know from Lions fans, how would you feel? Because if you want to take a quarterback, you have to do it this year. You absolutely have to do it this year.
I agree.
Yeah, you could, or just do what you guys did, trade a bunch of picks, and then get Mahomes. I mean, you could do that too.
But you know what, though? This is how I look at it. And it's kind of tying into your question and Mr. Jackson's question, where he says, you're stuck at 6 and 18. What do you do? I think a guy that fits exactly the mold of Brad Holmes type love affair is Levis. And I think Levis will end up being the pick and should be the pick, because I just need somebody who can be a threat to the quarterback position. In other words, don't get comfortable. Somebody can come in and take it over. And I feel like when you look at Levis and Jared Goff, they feel and look the same. They look identical. And I can see situations where that could be the case. So if I'm stuck at 6, that's what I would do. I'll take the quarterback because worst case scenario, guess what? If Jared Goff goes off, you extend him. I still got a piece I can trade. So now I can trade a draft pick and this quarterback to somebody who's a quarterback needy team and get me some picks and go and do something different. But I just feel like if you look at all the other positions out there, you're not getting Jalen Carter, so you can just go ahead and put that pipe away. I mean, I know that was some good herb, but it's time to just you're not getting him. You're not getting Will Anderson. You can go ahead and put that pipe away, right? You can just go ahead and chalk it up. So now the question really becomes, what is really worth taking at 6? And the only answer is quarterback. You can't take a receiver there. If you do that, then at that point, it makes the Jameson Williams pick even more stupid. So what is there left for you to take? If you take a guard at 6, people are going to kill you because they don't understand that if that guard ends up being Larry Allen, I don't care. You took a guard. It's not positional value. You know, all these dumb things that we subscribe to. Quarterback is the only thing you can take at 6. Now, if Jalen Carter is sitting up there and you got a quarterback, then you take Jalen Carter because you need an interior guy and that's what you want. Right? But if you telling me that I can't get Carter, I ain't getting Will, and I'm stuck at 6, taking a quarterback. And if that quarterback seemed to be Levis, to me, seemed like he'd be the perfect fit for the kind of quarterback that Brad Holmes loved. But he said, I want to kill you if you take an offensive guard. I'm just telling you, if it was me, I'm taking a quarterback at 6. And at 18, because I don't now took a quarterback, I might as well complete the trifecta and take a guard. That's just what I would do.
Shoot, looking at the draft board right now, there might be a possibility you might lose Will Levis, you might lose Bryce Young, you just might lose all 3 quarterbacks just with the Texans, the Colts, and the Seahawks. Very good chance they'll probably end up taking a QB. A good possibility of it.
Yeah, and so again, that's what I'm saying. You start to look at the list of people coming down, and now the person who really be on top of this, Dan, that you need to definitely hook up with is my man Anthony, who is with RachelMarieSports UK, man. His college fanatic abilities is real. I don't even know if you can call him a fanatic. What's the word for a person who like crazy scratch their neck the moment college football comes around? An addict. He's an addict.
Anthony, I'll reach out to you, man, because I always say I'm going to watch more college football, never get around to it.
Yeah, he's got a bad addiction. I mean, I feel like if you drop college football on the carpet, he'll sell his soul to the devil for it. So
it's called dedication, Luke.
Okay,
That's all it is.
My apologies.
You forget I don't grow up with this stuff, so I have to
If
learn
I ever
it all.
get hooked on hardcore drugs, that's what I'm gonna say. I'm being like, it's dedication.
I'm just saying, like, if
What
there was
you
one
left
person.
out is Carolina at 9. Remember, they traded CMC. They had some extra draft capital. They want a quarterback. That I could see a trade either with Detroit. I could see a trade if Seattle decides they don't want a quarterback. Carolina's a team I could easily see trading up, and they also have the draft capital to do so.
There's a lot of teams that could trade up with us because that need a quarterback right now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm picking up the pieces and putting it out there, but like I said, Anthony would know better than me. I think Levis is just a carbon copy of Goff. What do you think, Anthony?
I don't like really any of them at the top.
I'm not mad.
If I'm taking one, I'm taking Richardson because he has the highest ceiling of what you can do with him. The only reason I don't trust Stroud is because he's had 5 round 1 receivers to throw out the last 2 years.
That scares me.
In that offensive line.
Yeah, he's had this year's offensive rookie of the year in Garrett Wilson. You had Olave, who could have been offensive rookie of the year this year. Smith-Njigba, who should have been a top 10 pick this year, if not for his injury. You got Marvin Harrison, who's better than the lot of them combined. I mean, what if he goes to the Texans? You throw in to Nico Collins and to Chris Moore. I mean, I would argue his wide receiver core is better in college than what he's going to get in the NFL. And I don't trust him to come up and, because his guys are wide open all the time. He's a good player, but I just don't trust it when it's so easy for him to be able to make all these plays. So I don't go nowhere with him. Levis is just, I liked him at the start of the year. He's been rubbish this season. Richardson has been rubbish this season, but he's got high upside. Bryce, I really like, but I think he's going to be gone by then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd be waiting later in this draft. This year, I'm going to find a guy to sit and develop for a while. I'm not taking a guy at the top unless I'm forced to, but it'd be Richardson if it's any of them. Because he has the potential to be the best out of a lot of them.
I do have to agree. He does have the highest ceiling. And I was going to say I would take a chance on Richardson. Will Levis, he's another guy. Yeah, he's a boomer bust type of guy. I can't trust Will Levis just how he is with higher end talent. He can destroy lower end talent, but anytime he faces like anything that gives him a challenge, he just craps the bed.
He messed the bed up against Vanderbilt this season.
You know, bring that up.
He couldn't beat Vanderbilt on a game-winning drive or all game. I mean, to go back to your question of 6, why not, Luke? Go corner. You've got 5 picks in the top 80 this year, so you can afford to draft needs. You talk about, you know, taking a guard too high or whatever. I think you can afford luxury pick this year because you've got 5 high-end picks. So you are still, even if you put 1 on the offense, like you take Bijan at 18, which I'm fully on board with if it's there, you can afford to because you still get 4 top-class defenders as well. I think it's a good position we're in this year. So for me, value don't matter as much. If it's at 6 and it's Devon, I'll take a lockdown outside corner at 6. He'll be worth that in time. I don't care. I've got 4 more picks in the top 80. I'm going to get him. I'm going to get some stud players. I'm going to get an injection of talent. I don't think you have to settle for someone you don't really want or need. You can afford to reach a little bit if you want to, if it's the right guy.
Well, again, keep in mind that I'm not shooting down anything nobody is saying today, right? But we definitely have conversations about it. And to me, I want to address the comments, 2 comments, and then I'm a rebuttal similar to what you said. I do not believe that we are at a point where we can be taking luxury picks. We're not there. The Lions is not there. William Burr says, say we trade down to number 9. Who are you taking? It's hands down the easiest pick for me if we get down to number 9. I have no doubts about who I'm taking at number 9. And it's 100% a defensive player, and it's Tracy Porter Jr. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's my number 1 corner. He's who I'm taking if we go down to 9. I'm taking Tracy Porter. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. The other question that came up was Luke. So what if Levis, Young, Stroud, Anderson, and Carter are gone? Which I don't know how that would be possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are gone, and we get up. I just don't see how that would be possible. But let's say it did, and I'm stuck at 6. And who I'm at that point, I'm just sorry. I'm probably going to take the pick that people ain't going to find sexy, and it's going to probably be either the running back from Texas, Robinson, or it's going to be a guard. Either way it go, I got to get my needs taken care of. That's all I'm pointing out. Now back to my man Anthony, and let me do a quick shout out to my man Chris Wallace in the building, and one Pride 40 in the building. But Chris Wallace says, "Yo, Luke, what's going on? Luke, take that tight end, man, 100%."
I gotta know, like why are you guys anti tight end? I'm not lying.
They believe that you should not take a tight end in the top 10 of any draft ever because it doesn't meet draft position.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. That's what they believe.
Pettigrew, it was Pettigrew, then we had Ebron, and then the Hawkinson. Even though Hawkinson was good, he was one of my favorite players. It's really in Detroit culture. We're like,
okay. It's a cold. Okay, so it's not that.
It's basically like me, a bunch of couch GMs who but they subscribe to more BS than I do, and they think that you can't take a tight end in the top 10 and all this.
Let me ask you this: this is a good tight end draft. You would be against taking a tight end at 18.
I'm not. I'm against taking any offensive player in the first round that's not a quarterback.
Okay. What about a guard though in 18? Osiris Torrance.
But that's only if I took the quarterback at 6.
Also, to add, I'm having the weirdest mock. For once, I got Bryce Young. I can draft him at 6. How the
I'm
Yeah,
just saying,
that's
I don't
weird,
do the mock
man.
draft because the mock draft is for play. It's for fun. But what
It
I'm
is
trying
for
to,
fun,
what I'm saying is my purpose is this: if you're going to go into this route, you get me a quarterback that can be alternate like life changing, or maybe a generational talent or whatever you want to call it. As long as he's able to compete with that quarterback position, cool. At that point, we need a guard, and we need a guard bad. I would prefer we get that guard. So that's just what I'm saying. Cap Ice Cold says, what players have come across in this draft that fit that grit football mentality? Obviously, Witherspoon does. Porter does as well in terms of the secondary people. I'm gonna probably piss Anthony off in a few minutes with my take on the secondaries. I know it's coming. But there's a few linebackers that I like that I'm trying to keep close to the brim because I need to watch a few more games. But I've seen enough of them to know that they have that mentality. Now, Anthony, luxury picks. No, absolutely not. I just don't see how. You still have needs. You still have major holes, and you're sitting up here in a draft where you can bring something in that can truly help your team now. Not yesterday, not last week. I mean, a year ago that can help them now. And you took your luxury pick. You took that receiver. And at that point, you're done. I'm sorry, you're done. You don't get to keep making luxury picks because you're not set. Your defense was absolutely rubbish. And yes, I used the slang from the great UK.
That's such a British thing to say. We're converting you.
Hey.
It was rubbish. I'm just gonna tell the truth. And I cannot begin to tell you how if people thought that the Lions schedule was tough this year, which many people did, and they thought, they're only gonna win 6 games, I can assure you that next year's schedule is harder.
So by definition, Luke, you said you draft Bijan at 6. That's a luxury pick, a running back. It's a skill. It's a luxury pick.
It's a need.
No, hang on. No. Needs and luxury pick, they're the same thing, Luke.
No, they're not.
Yes. Oh, yes, they are.
No, they're not.
You're taking a luxury pick. You take a tight end at 6. That's a luxury pick.
I didn't say I would take a tight end at 6. I didn't say that. I said that I don't believe in draft positional value, so I take whoever's going to be the best pick and who's going to perform.
So when I say by luxury pick, what I mean is a position that so I would consider running back to be a luxury pick. If I took Bijan at 18, I would consider that to be a luxury one. And I wouldn't mind it because I've got 4 other picks in the top 80 to go and get lots of defensive talent. So I think we can afford to go down that route, and I'd probably do it. If you want to go quarterback at 18, if you want to take Anthony Richardson and develop him in that at 18, if he's still there, I would consider that a luxury pick in our circumstances as well. And I think you can justify it because, again, you can get plenty of talent there. So that's what I mean by luxury. It's everyone's just going, you get your edge player, your D tackle, your linebacker, all this. I just mean outside of that would be my term of a luxury pick. I'd take a couple of offensive guys, even though we might not need it. I mean, even though it might not be an immediate need. I'd take a guard. If it's Torrance, I will take Torrance at 18. Consider that maybe a bit of a luxury given the circumstances. We've got a lot on defense we need. So that's what I mean by man.
And Steve is right. I said Tracy Porter Jr. I meant to say Joey Porter Jr. Hey, y'all, me and names just don't work. I'm sorry, but I know who he is. Trust me. Penn State and everything. I know the number and all. So he's my number 1. I just said the name wrong. So yes, you're right. Luxury pick to me is taking a position that is not of a need. Luxury pick to me is like, for example, what we did with Jamison. We didn't need him. You had already re-signed Reynolds. You had already had St. Brown. You had already went out and gave a big contract for a 1-year deal to DJ Chark. You already had at the time TJ Hockenson, and at the time, I don't think they knew they was going to trade. I thought they was going to try to do something different, but they thought that, hey, let's try to get something else in here in terms of capital. So you already had those weapons, and so you really didn't need him. And in fact, to show you how much of a luxury pick he was, they didn't have a problem with him not playing until December. They would have had him out the whole year, but they wanted to at least give him some type of reps. So at the end of the day, that was a luxury pick. Taking Aiden Hutchinson at 2 was not a luxury pick because it was a need, a major need. You needed a D lineman, and there was no doubts about it. Taking another D lineman at the 2nd round was not necessarily a luxury pick because that was also a need, right? You needed D line help.
We didn't have a wide receiver 1 last year, though, Luke, and Jameson is arguably that.
I argue this all the time. Now, Now I'm just out of curiosity.
And you don't have a speed guy. We didn't have an X guy apart from Chark, who was coming off
that
injury.
may be true.
You have to protect yourself because he's on a 1-year deal. Because I want to go out and get another X receiver this year because I think you do need to plan long term for Chark. You need someone who's, a bit more physical. He's like Amon-Ra on the outside. You need someone like that as well as Jameson. And I'd argue that is a need because next year Chark may well be gone, and I don't want to keep paying him $10 million every year. We need to get better. So
I don't hate J-Mo. I don't hate Jameson at all. My issue is you trade up 20 spots to take a receiver who don't play until December. And everybody and their mother jumped up and down and bought bouquets of flowers and threw roses upon him as if though he was the savior. And it's ridiculous. And my problem is this. When you look at that pick, we didn't have receiver number 1. Watch this. Dan, you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, right?
Oh, yeah.
Since 1989?
Oh, yeah.
Who was wide receiver number 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs this year?
It was Travis Kelce.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And who won the Super Bowl yesterday, sir?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was the Chiefs.
I'm just putting it out there. So this idea of we didn't have wide receiver 1 don't matter. You have to have a collection of people who can get it done. And when you look at teams like Kansas City Chiefs, they have a collection of people who can get it done. The same thing that the Lions had, a collection of people that can get it done. And they discovered that through Pacheco that we can run the ball. That's even a more added thing. And with us, obviously, we could run the ball. So, yes, Jameson Williams was a luxury pick, especially when you needed linebackers. And I know that most people subscribe to the same talk of linebackers don't matter, but I want you to remember 240 yards were given up in the first half against the Carolina Panthers. Their quarterback didn't have to throw the ball. And so with that being said, I asked myself this question of this year. It's running back a need. Well, yeah, you got DeAndre Swift, who's going to be on the last year of his deal, who has a history of injuries. You got a free agent in Jamal Williams. You don't have Justin Jackson on roster. Craig Reynolds, I don't even think is still underneath roster per se, but he might be underneath a last 1-year deal. But nonetheless, you don't really want him to be a starter. So yes, you need a running back. And at that point, it's not a luxury. You're just filling a need. That's all I'm saying. What
you're also got to consider when Robinson, you have Williams that if you draft Robinson, doesn't make any sense to keep Williams around. If you draft Robinson, whether you do it at 6 or 18. You're getting a guy who's going to get 300 to 350 touches. And I'm not saying this just blowing smoke. This is a serious thing. If you take Bijan Robinson on the Lions with that offensive line, this is an MVP type player. And I know it may sound crazy, but I've been watching this kid since he was a freshman at Texas. This is a guy with that Lions offensive line could win MVP as a rookie. He could put up 2,000. I mean, he could have a type of rookie season like Earl Campbell did or Eric Dickerson did because you
with this line too.
Lions offensive line. You put them on a team like Houston Texans. I'm not having this conversation. You put them on a team like Arizona. I saw a mock draft where he's going 3rd to Arizona, and I'm like, what the hell are you guys thinking? He's not an MVP candidate. You put Bijan Robinson on the Lions, he's an MVP caliber player. He's going to get 300, 350 touches. He's probably going to get 15 touchdowns. That's an MVP, legitimate MVP candidate. That's why I wouldn't consider Robinson a luxury pick for the Lions. I hated that trade for Jamal Williams. I thought that was a terrible trade. I gave the Lions a C- grade.
Don't get me started.
Oh, God, yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I got a lot of hate from Lions.
I did too.
A C-, and I stood by it because you got great trade value from the Vikings. I think you fleeced the Vikings because I have it right somewhere nearby, but I think you gave up what was it? A number 1 and a number 2 to trade up 20 spots. Is that right?
It's like a number 1 and a number 3. Basically, it ended up being like a 3rd essentially to move up 20 spots.
And you moved up 20 spots in the first.
But if you watch the Vikings video of how that went, they did not deem any of those players worthy of being drafted that high. That's why they wanted to move back.
Yeah, and you have, in hindsight,
I see Mike is in the building, but it says device is not connected. So Mike, it says device is not connected.
See, the only thing I would say back at that is to go to it being a luxury again is you have a very deep running back class this year. So
yeah,
whilst I agree, I think Bijan's the best guy to come out of college at running back since Saquon. and I think he will be as good as Saquon, if not maybe a bit better. But
Oh,
you can also get one on day 2, and you will probably get a guy who say may get 1,500 yards. So that's the only reason I say it's a luxury is because of the depth of the class and the positional value aspect.
like
Even though I don't subscribe to it, but I'd still do it. But I think you
I'm
could
not
spend
killing
that.
you
You
on it
could
either.
spend that pick elsewhere for that as well. So
I'm not killing you on it. And again, Rumble,
Mm-hmm.
because I think I watched you in the chat. You had these conversations about different players and stuff, and you have the things. When you look at the Lions and the idea that they're at a point where they can make luxury picks, you buy that?
I buy luxury picks. I don't. There's no luxury pick with this team. Whoever we decide to pick is something of urgency. You brought up linebackers. We still need help at linebacker.
Yeah.
Like Anzalone had a decent year. I think it was a year of him overachieving, in my opinion. But we still need that linebacker who instills fear into the opposing teams.
Agree.
We still need secondary help. Again, I think the one side of the ball that we need to address the most this year in the draft is defense.
Yep.
So I think we should use those high draft picks that we have to address defense. And like Anthony said, you can still go get a running back, rounds 2, 3.
Yeah, I want all 4 of them picks. I want them 2 first and them 2 seconds to be all defense. In fact,
yes,
I want so many defensive players that they when they start talking about who's the defensive rookie of the year, they all on our team. That's how bad I need it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want our defense to be chomping at the bits, man. I think we got a great coordinator in Aaron Glenn, and then we just brought in Dre Bly. Kneecaps, grit, this whole thing, man. I think we if we have the right combination of guys on that defensive side, young, hungry guys, I think we'll be poised to actually make the hugest jump from 32 to maybe the mid-20s. I just see.
I disagree with you a little bit, Rumble. I think if they nail this draft with those defensive players, they could jump from 32 as high as like top 10.
See, there you go. I'd
To
like
me,
that even better.
To me, at that point, you're going to be put in a position where you got to pick your poison. And if you got all 3 levels shored up, you got like people don't talk about it. I know everybody wanted to get an MVP to Patrick Mahomes, but to me, the guy that stood out that did the most damage was Nick Bolton. That was a guy that we as Lion fans wanted, and he did a lot of damage. He was very aware and very involved in a lot of plays. And if it didn't go to Patrick Mahomes, he would have been my pick.
Number 32.
Yep, I remember his name.
He was everywhere.
Damn often.
Oh my gosh, okay. Yeah, he was everywhere.
Shout out to Detroit, Dr. Detroit. He says you are comparing the Lions to the Chiefs. Well, you mean compared to a few other teams who got receiver by committee? Because I'm trying to show you that most of the times having a top receiver don't result in you winning. Just go ask the Cincinnati Bengals. Go ahead.
I mean, we can go blow for blow on their offense just from our statistics alone. We were one of the top 10 offenses in the league, so yeah, it's not really too crazy to say we can't be compared.
And then we had it. Sorry, go ahead, Luke.
Go ahead, Rumble.
And then we had a game against Carolina where we could not stop anything. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know if we got off of the. I don't know, man. I think we're still on the plane or something.
They was cold.
But that Carolina,
they let Carolina weather freeze them over.
That was a weird game.
Just to point
Very
out,
weird.
if you guys didn't notice, the Chiefs had 5 rookies play a lot on defense in the Super Bowl. They had 5 rookies.
Oh, I know. One of them, what's his name? McDuffie?
McDuffie, Leo Chenal.
McDuffie, that's his name. Duffy. I thought it was Duffy.
Jalen Watson, a 7th round pick. Joshua Williams, a 4th round pick. Byron Cook, a 2nd round pick. 3 of those guys started. Cook and Chanel played a lot more than I was expecting. I was kind of surprised Chiefs played a standard 4-3 set part of the time, but the point is that you're right. I think you need to trade down from 6. I mean,
absolutely. That's what everybody wants.
Everybody's on board because, like I said, I don't have the dog in the fight. But if I'm the Lions, like that pick at 6, that's where the draft gets really interesting. But if I'm the Lions, I want to get out of that pick But if you are stuck there, I think you got to take a quarterback. And that's kind of my thought process. But
listen, that's my problem. I think you got to take the quarterback if you stuck at 6. I think that's the only pick that makes sense for me personally. But hey, it just is what it is. William Burks, shout out to you. He says if you have an elite quarterback, you don't need a number 1 receiver. Everybody and their mother thought that when Tyreek Hill left, that he was going to suffer, and he didn't. And the other issue is this whole idea is if you're an elite quarterback, you don't need a number 1. Well, go and tell that to Aaron Rodgers. Because all he complained about was, I don't got a real number 1. Yeah, horse crap. You had all I was told was for years is that you make receivers, and now you want to say you don't have it. And you're not going to tell me he's not elite. I can keep going down the list of people who had elite receivers and didn't do anything with it. Rather you want to say they was old or not. But the reality is this. It's not a matter of do you have elite receivers. The thing is that we as fans need to stop subscribing to some of these fallacies and understand that quarterback and receiver go hand to hand. Joe Montana wasn't Joe Montana because he was just so great. Joe Montana was Joe Montana because he had Jerry Rice, and Jerry Rice was Jerry Rice because he had Joe Montana. Peyton Manning wasn't just Peyton Manning because he was so great. Peyton Manning had a host of other people he could throw the ball to, and the same with Kurt Warner and his receivers. They go hand in hand. And a lot of the times when you see things failing, there are other factors that we don't include, like maybe not running the ball. A lot of the teams, and this is another story that y'all can go through and look again, and I've been saying this for years, look at the teams who won in the playoffs. Most of the ones who won, probably 95% of them, if not 99.9% of them who won were winning because they outran the other team. If you go back to yesterday's game, the entire offense for the Eagles was on that quarterback's legs, and what happened? He fumbled because he was running with the ball in one hand, and they had some people who's willing to be like, oh, you want to keep it in that hand? Great.
You're kind of ignoring that they've also got one of the best offensive lines in the league and probably the best play caller in the league.
Who's that?
Well, the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs.
They've got one of the best offensive lines in the league. I mean, no sacks given up against that Philly O-line. And Andy Reid outcoached the hell out of them there. If you had the offensive line from the Bucs Super Bowl out there on Sunday, they'd have been annihilated again without a wide receiver. They'd have been absolutely annihilated. You've got to have these things to do well. It's not as easy as saying, you don't need a wide receiver one. Well, it helps you've got an elite offensive line. It helps you've got an elite play caller who can scheme anybody open. So there is more to it than that.
Yeah, listen, there's always a lot that you can look at and say that there's there. But then that same question comes into play. Do you not believe in Ben Johnson? And I know you do. And so at that point, Ben Johnson was a high pick who had to literally turn down the offer to stay with us. And so that tells me that when we talking about play calling and stuff, I can make that same argument for them because we were one of the top 5 scoring teams in offensive teams. And so that is a direct indicator of our head coach and our coordinator. And you start to look at the Kansas City Chiefs, my whole statement for them was just simply put to the idea about the number 1 receiver. They don't have one. And that's just the reality. It's receiver by committee. Juju Smith-Schuster's been on this is 3rd team I think is on. They cast him to the side, and what you saw was everyone got involved. There were plays where they were double teaming Kelsey and Watson. I think the tight end name was Watson, got some catches, and then there were times where they didn't have Pacheco in. They would run a play where you did have good play calling and you did have a decent amount of blocking and stuff, but that's not the point. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, most of the people will argue the weakest part of their team is their defense. And when you watch those games down the stretch, the defense with young guys at key positions stepped up and performed. The same way we praise our young guys who stepped up and performed. I'm just making the point that we cannot afford, we cannot afford to just decide that, you know what, we can take a luxury pick. Craig Jones says, yeah, but a quarterback would be a luxury pick. Running back is a luxury pick. You need a corner, interior D. And again, Craig, I don't know if you just got here, but my exact words were trade down, and my first 4 picks of this draft are dedicated to the defense. And then I told you that if I'm stuck at 6, at that point I'm taking the quarterback, because if the quarterback don't work out, I at least still have a draft piece that I can trade. People were still calling the 49ers trying to pick up Brock Purdy before Brock Purdy was Brock Purdy. People was calling the 49ers for Trey Lance. People was calling the 49ers for Jimmy Garoppolo. Who called the Lions for Nate Studfield? Right? Like no one. No one. Hell, we didn't even want to call Nate Studfield. Nate Studfield was shocked when we called him. He like, God damn, I got a phone call. He didn't believe it. So for me, I'm not saying that, the quarterback is a luxury pick because it's a need. Jared Goff is cool, but how many more years you trust Jared Goff to be here? Because from what I'm seeing from Jared Goff is you better keep this perfect storm around him or you don't get this kind of performance.
Well, how do you feel about other QBs in the draft, like, say, Clayton Tune or Jake Fromm? Do you think that they might have potential to be at least better than, say, Nate Studfield?
Fromm, no. Who's the other person you said?
Clayton Tune from Houston.
No.
You're not feeling Clayton?
No, I think they're much of the same. It's almost like you got a jelly donut and I just brought you some more jelly donuts and you asked for something different. They're much of the same.
You're giving me Pokemon vibes here.
I'm just saying. Again, people, the link is in the description. Feel free to jump in. This is an open conversation. Any questions that you have, post them and we'll discuss them. Let me ask y'all a question because why I got everybody here, why some of these questions get ready to come in. I talked about it earlier, and I started down the list. I start with you, Rumble. Do you think that Aiden Hutchinson was robbed the defensive rookie of the year? Did I lose Rumble?
Yeah, he put a note in here.
I see it. I'm sorry. I see it.
He's got to get some food.
Oh, I see it. All right. Let me go to you, Dan. Do you believe that Aiden Hutchinson was robbed?
Oh no, and I'm gonna tell you something. Sauce Gardner might be the best corner in football, not just rookie. I mean, I love this kid's game, and I got Houston Texans regular, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy they picked at number 3. They picked the LSU corner, and I should know his name, but anyway. And I said, man, you picked the wrong corner. You should have took Sauce Gardner. And this guy may end up being a really good corner. And I feel bad. I can't think of the guy's name right now. LSU corner, number 24 in college.
Stingley.
Yeah, was that it?
Derek Stingley.
Yeah. Stingley may be a great corner. I just thought Sauce Gardner was better. And Sauce Gardner's like, he might be the best corner in football. Might. I don't remember the last time a corner came in and had this type of an impact. Darrelle
Revis.
You probably have to go back to Revis. He came in and this was a Pro Bowl. The guy who had the comment earlier, the Pro Bowl is a joke, but the All-Pro team is 100% correct. And
yep,
Sauce Gardner.
That's my man Mike Kimber.
That was a great comment, man. Sauce Gardner's an All-Pro corner. I think Hutchinson played good enough that a lot of years he could have been, defensive rookie of the year.
He just happened to run into a brick wall, and the Lions helped that cause when they refused to throw the ball at him. You have to throw the ball at him.
You got rookie corner out there, but Sauce Gardner. I don't feel like I'm being facetious here by calling him, easily a top 5 corner. He might. Is it fair to say going into 2023, is Sauce Gardner the number 1 corner in football? You can have that argument. I don't know if he is, but you can have that argument. He's that good. So no, Hutchinson didn't get robbed. Hutchinson's a damn good player. I predicted he would go there, and I predicted you guys would really like the kid, and I was right about that. I wasn't right. Maybe I wasn't right about the rest of your draft. I gave you guys a C-. I hated the trade up for Williams.
I gave it a C. I said everybody. I said going for every draft is a C. They will prove and earn their grades. So that's just me. But because I've gave other draft A's, and I'm like, damn it, you just fell off like a bad wig or something, So
2 years ago, I loved the Lions draft, but last year, no, I hated it. I thought it was a terrible move to trade up. I thought it was a terrible move, but we'll find out.
In the words of Michael Jackson, you are not alone. Steve-O says Revis wasn't an All-Pro his rookie season. We're not comparing him to say that they are All-Pros. His statements was he can't think of a cornerback to have this level of impact. In Revis' first season, he was very impactful.
Yeah.
Now, whether he made an All-Pro or not, Cool. That's not what we're not comparing it to say, oh, he's had an all-pro season, just like Revis. No, we're saying that when Darrelle Revis came to the league, he had a significant impact where it was very obvious and people didn't recognize it. Another person who came into the league and had a really big impact and it wasn't fully recognized was Richard Sherman. You know, he had a very impactful rookie season. And you know, yeah, he probably didn't win the all-pro honors and stuff, but that's not necessarily the point I would look at to say, you know what, this is how I'm clarifying it or justifying it. We're just looking at that initial impact that year. That's all. Let me see. Make sure I don't miss nobody comments, man. I want to try to get everybody in there. Let's go to you now, Crimson. Was he robbed? Was Aiden Hutchinson robbed the defensive rookie of the year?
Okay. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm going to be really indifferent about it. I don't really care. It's like the whole thing when everyone was freaking out about the whole Kirby Joseph over Kyle Hamilton for the all-pro rookie team. I didn't care. It makes no difference to me otherwise. It's like big whoop-de-frickin-do. It's like you won the battle, but you didn't win the war. Congratulations, you got rookie of the year. Does it really make a difference? No. The guy is the best edge rusher in the class. I can live with that. This draft was perfect for me. You got the best safety in the class. You got the two best edge rushers in the class. Figure that one out. You got a linebacker in the 6th round that was considered one of the best linebackers in the class. I don't give a damn where he was fucking drafted. He still did his job well. This draft class did its job, and I got really no complaints. As for the whole Williamson thing, well, yeah, I played injured. We'll see what he does next season. If he sucks next season, it's going to be Brad Holmes' head, I'm certain. But it's like, I can't really judge the guy on a small sample size like that. So
yeah, I mean, listen, it's so many things. And one fucking Lion fan touched on the topic that I just left alone. I keep trying to explain it to people, but you know what? I'm gonna jump into it eventually. Anthony, I'm gonna give you your chance to get your piece in. You know, was he robbed? I mean, because I think he was not robbed. I think the best defensive rookie got the award. They got it right.
Was he robbed? No, but did he have a much bigger legitimate claim to the award than it was made out to be? Yes, he did. The gap was a lot closer than what the votes were. It shouldn't have all been for Sauce. And the reason why is, when you're talking rookie of the year, you've got to look at impact the rookie has on the game, not just at his position, but what he's doing is doing to the defense as a whole in general. And Sauce has been good. And, he locks down one half of the field. It's great, but it's very easily avoidable. Throw away from him. That Jets defense, not very good on the outside of that, apart from him in there. And, he has limited impact when it comes to what he does on the defense. He's really good at what he does, but overall, it's limited. Whereas with Aiden, on the edge, where you are, your impact every single play, your productivity, goes a lot more towards your defense as a whole. And you got to look at the situations they're in. Aiden came into a room that was barren. Charles was injured. Romeo was injured. Julian's never healthy. You've got nothing in there. Houston didn't start this season. He's a rookie coming into a barren room, expected to make a big impact on this defense. And after a slow start, he did. He had a very profound one. It's not just in terms of his rushing ability, but dropping back into coverage. 3 interceptions in there as well. In the run game, he was so much better. All these aspects of his game, he had a massive impact on this defense. You take both these two players out their respective defenses, who's going to miss them more? We're going to miss Aiden more because he's having more of an impact on games. Sauce has been great, don't get me wrong, but I think when you're looking for rookie of the year, I want the guy who's had the biggest impact on his team and has the biggest claim to it. And I think that Aiden's case is a lot stronger than it was made out to be. So I'm not going to say he's robbed, but I'm going to say that, it was a damn sight closer than it was made out to be. And if he'd have got it, I could 100% see why he would have got it.
Yeah, I would have disagreed. I would have said if he got it, that it's a bunch of baloney. That award would have lost some validity to me because you talk about impact. There's three things you said, I think, when you broke it down, which I think were all good points, but there's three things you said. Let's start with the first one. He had a slow start. Yeah, that's about the logist of it. That slow start was something that people noticed, and there was a lot of games that he was very forgettable in. His first game, he had one tackle, and that was 2 half tackles, right? So you're and you're the closest to the ball. And then the second thing that you talked about, which I think was why he didn't win it and stuff. And mind you, I'm shocked that he didn't get more votes, but I'd be damned. I'm not mad that he didn't either, because I also think I thought the best player who, as a rookie, was him. But the second thing that I think hurt Aiden Hutchinson's chances is James Houston. When you come in 6 games and already got 6 or 8 sacks, yeah, and then people are trying to figure out, well, why is this guy who's 6 feet, 210 or 220 pounds is getting more done than a guy who's 6'5", 270, 260, and supposed to be a pure pass rusher? That hurt him. But the third thing that I think that hurt him the most is the third thing. You talked about impact. When you can take away half a field, there's no greater impact than that. That essentially means that I know that you're going to go to this side, and good luck with that, because if you throw it over here, it's all bad. That level of impact is what I wanted the Lions to find. It's one of the reasons why I thought we were taking either Sauce Gardner or Hamilton, and I went with Hamilton because I wanted the safety. But if you go back to my original prediction, I was like, it's one of these DBs. We're getting these DBs, and we went with the other guy. Cool, don't really care, right? We still got a lot of career left to play out to see if the pick is right. I don't judge it on 1 year. But those three things hurt him. The slow start, the guy coming in late in the season and exploding on the scene, and then the fact that on top of that, you got a guy taking away half a field, and it's so devastating that the team that you play for refused to throw it his way.
But again, Luke, with Houston, look at the situation he's coming into. It's a lot better than what Aiden has to walk into. Pascal is healthy by then. Romeo's on his way back. Aiden's in full pomp. Your interior a lot better with Kaminsky and Bugs playing in there. You're bringing in a situation where you're putting him in a position to succeed. And plus, there's no tape on James Houston anywhere at this level. His bend, the elite bend he has to dip and rip, all that. Teams didn't know what to do with him because there was no tape there for it. And, let's not just say he's just a 6th round guy here. He was very highly sought after in college. He only went down to Jackson State because of Dion. He was a lot better than that. And, he just went under the radar. He's a damn good player. And he's an outlier. You're not going to find guys like that, maybe ever. That's just how good he's been in there. And you
won't give me to disagree.
A lot better situation.
Yeah, let me ask you guys something here. And I'm not a Lions fan. Are you going into the season with Hutchinson and Houston as your edge rushers, as your main guys? Is he really this good of a player, or are you looking at 6? Or are you looking to add somebody opposite the Hutchinson?
Pascal and Kaminsky are there. Pascal is going to be the guy. He's been the guy drafted to be the second guy. And in spurts, he showed it last season. He's going to have a full off season to prep this time. Houston, as of right now, is a situational pass rusher. He will get better against the run, and he will work his way into the rotation eventually. But he's not a starter. We drafted Pascal for this reason. And Kamish has been really good. He's likely going to come back. So we're going to have a good rotation. I don't want to take another edge rusher.
And Romeo's coming back as well.
I'm done with the edge. I don't want to. And there's no one that really interests me at the top of the first round at 6. Really. I'm not going to lie. Tyree Wilson's going to – no.
Oh, don't even get me started on that guy. Everybody named Mother have lit me up about him, and I swear, I'm watching tape after tape, and I'm like, are we watching the same people, or were y'all just watching highlights? Because I'm telling you, when you watch Tyree got, again, I'll say this to everybody, he got one move. The problem with Tyree that I have an issue with is when you stop that one move, he stops.
There's multiple of them at the top of the draft this year. It's like Ika. Everyone's going, oh, Ika in the interior. He's horrible. Absolutely horrible. 30% missed tackle rate in college last year for a nose tackle, a one tech. I don't want that. I'm a guy who can't take double teams. He's the most overhyped player in this draft, and Tyree Wilson's not far behind him.
But to be fair, let me just point this out to be fair. the question he asked was, are you going into the season with Houston and Hutchinson? And in my opinion, yes, I would start Houston. I don't believe he's a situational guy. I don't think that he's somebody that you look at and go, oh, you got to bring him in on situational downs. I do not believe that to be the case. What I believe is this. You have enough people that you can play games with and rotate. Pascal is supposed to be a do-all guy, 3-tack and all that, right? We'll put his ass at the 3-tack, right? This is how I'm looking at it. And in my opinion, I want the 2 best pass rush out there because I saw what happened against Green Bay. They were so focused on Houston that it freed up Aiden. And I'm like, okay, great. This is great. And this right here to me was something that I want to see more of. So to answer that question, cool. One Funky Lion fan says Hamilton and Joseph don't even play the same position. First a center field, and the other is a box. Right. And this is the thing that I find funny that when shout out to my Woodward Sports people who have been pushing this narrative, like Easy, Spence, and Adam. Shout out to them. But you're comparing 2 different players because, in my opinion, you can't do with Kirby Joseph what you can do with Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton was covering slots. Kyle Hamilton was put in the box. Kyle Hamilton was playing strong safety. And he would have been playing that Elliott role that you brought in for Deshaun Elliott. The difference is with Kirby Joseph, in my opinion, he's basically Tracy Walker 2.0. I would love for anybody to challenge me on otherwise and fall in love with it, but I'm telling you, they're the same freaking players.
Actually, that's one question. If we're bringing up the whole, if you're fine, are you fine with Tracy and Kirby next season starting?
I am not, which is where I'm probably finna piss Anthony off. I feel it's finna come. If the Lions take Devon Witherspoon, he would have to be my strong safety. I cannot. When I watch Witherspoon, I see a guy who loves contact more than a skillful coverage guy. I see a guy who would rather knock your block off than to knock a pass away. And to me, when I see that reads and screams safety. I saw something similar in Jeff Okudah, which I said, hey, if you move Jeff Okudah to safety, it would be worth it. That would be great. But if you do not move Jeff Okudah to safety, I don't see him as working out as a corner because there are certain things he didn't do. Now, I will give Witherspoon this credit where I can't give it to Okudah. Witherspoon will beat you up at the line of scrimmage. He is very physical at the line of scrimmage. I love all of that. It's just that when the ball is in the air, I've seen too many passes that would have been an interception if he just simply turned his ass around. That's all he had to do. And instead, what he did was he went to go and bully the damn receiver. Great. I'm not mad at that. But I feel like him at safety, a guy who wants the contact, he wants all the smoke, makes more sense. I cannot draft him and have him be my corner.
I think you're with Antonio Johnson out of Texas A&M.
Oh, don't get me started on him. I would love him too.
I don't want you to talk about him because I want him to fall to my Chiefs.
Hey,
and so I was kind of hoping you wouldn't. I was hoping you guys.
I would love Antonio Johnson if I can get him.
Yeah,
Anthony. I know that you do not believe that Witherspoon should be switched from corner to safety. I saw y'all the debate that you had with William and the Discord. So I'll give you a chance to rebuttal that. I just do not feel, based on what I'm seeing and for like multi-time football, if they move Witherspoon to safety, he'll probably be my number 1 with Antonio Johnson, probably number 2. But if you leave Witherspoon at corner, Antonio Johnson, based on what I need for the Lions, will be number 1.
Luke,
Anthony,
don't do this to me, Luke.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Luke, you're better than this. He's the best. He is the best man. He is the best outside man coverage corner in this draft, Luke. You don't move him. If you want a safety, go and grab a safety.
Okay.
Do that. Don't be doing any of this messing around with that. You got to take a guy on the outside. You take him, and that is the dangerous thing here, Luke. People going about his size. Maybe he can't do it. The most dangerous and lazy thing to do is move him inside. He has proven in a system that makes good DBs. There's 3 of them come into the draft this year from Illinois who are all damn good. If you want one of those hybrids, get Jatavius Martin instead. He's a lot better at what he does. Leave Witherspoon on the outside and be done with it, because
My
that's where he's best at, and that's what we need. If you want a safety, go and get Christopher Smith from Georgia. He is a Dan Campbell guy, 100%. He's exactly what you want back there, and he plays the position. But don't be messing around. Look what the team's done to Iffy. Iffy has been ruined because this team went, he's got the intangibles to go and play at safety. And plus, we need to fit Will Harris in there somewhere because he's kissing arse all over the place and getting moved. So they've screwed Iffy's career for Will Harris. I'm not having this move them from where they're good from. He is an outside man coverage corner, the best one in the draft. We need one desperately. Leave him where he plays the best.
It makes me think of that meme. You ever seen the one with the guy looking at the butterfly? You just see Christian Witherspoon, Luke looking at the butterfly. Is this a safety?
It's just I hate moving people around. It's like people going, let's draft Schmitz, the center from Minnesota, to play right guard. He's never played a snap there in his life. This is our elite unit on this team, and you're just going to shoehorn a center in there. We've just done that this season, newsflash, and it didn't end up very well. Stop it. Take a right guard who's played there. The best guy who's filled in at right guard for us whilst Hal's been injured is Kramer. What was Kramer in college? He was a right guard at Notre Dame, and a damn good one. And he's looked the best at the position, shock horror. Whereas all these guys, Skipper has been trash. Brown has been okay, but not great. Don't draft a center, a tackle, whatever, and try and move them. It's the same with the DBs. Get specific specialists and play them where you're meant to. And Witherspoon is a specialist on the outside.
To be fair, I agree with you, right? Like, I agree with you on the movement of players and stuff like that, or you taking players that don't necessarily fit what you do. But when I watch Witherspoon, he just likes conflict and contact. And so for a guy who likes contact and conflict at the cornerback position, and a guy that, I got to be honest, if he just turns his head, he probably has 100 goddamn interceptions. It just wasn't there. And the cornerback has to be able to do a little bit more than just be man. He's going to be asked to do some zone sometimes. He's going to be asked to do some things a little bit different, like blitz and stuff. And you're going to get the most out of him by doing that. Now, Steve-O says, why are you still talking about Hamilton? Well, one, necessarily not me talking about Hamilton, but me addressing the Hamilton talk, because people been bringing Hamilton up every chance that they could because they believe that Kirby has been better. And it's funny because the peers of the league don't believe that. And so it shows when you look at certain things in terms of stats and stuff like that. When you look at the stats of both those players who play two different positions, but are both safeties, when you look at it, those two guys' numbers are very similar. The difference is one of them started 13 games and the other one started 4.
Well, since we're on the topic of safety, I mean, what do you think of guys like J.L. Skinner, Jordan Battle, Gianni Brown?
Skinner, I haven't watched a lot of tape on yet, so I can't comment on. Battle, I was high on last year. I'm out now this year because, I'm out this year. I like some other people better. I'm sorry. Antonio Johnson changes a lot of stuff for me. I'm sorry.
He saw the light.
He changed a lot of things for me, so unfortunately I'm doing it. Kobe says, Luke, you're delusional. He says, like, oh my God. He says, what's the other one at? I'm losing brain cells listening to you right now. I'm sorry.
Kobe does not like you, man. What would you do to Kobe, man?
Listen, I'm not trying to have you lose brain cells, but I'm just giving you my opinion. Brian Birch, best safety in the class.
Would I be mad if we took him? I wouldn't be mad.
Listen, all right. I knew that this was going to be a topic. I'm saving it for something else, but I can tell you this much. Can I put this? Life is extremely simple when you have certain things, as Anthony pointed out, right? They're very simple. I want to make sure I say that. Where I am not on board with him as being the best safety in his class is when I have to ask myself, what do you want based on the defense that you're going to run with the Lions and based on what you want to see from your Lions team? This team is very close to not only being just as good as the 91 team that went to the NFC Championship, but better. And the difference was they had one safety who was kind of a ball technician who can kind of like get in the area of the ball. They had a cornerback who's kind of feisty and will fight you at the line of scrimmage. But they had a safety by the name of Benny Blaze, who will knock your block off if you came anywhere in his vicinity.
Oh, I love Benny Blaze.
And that, to me, is where it gets different. And I'm not saying that Branch can't do that. I just think I've seen cornerbacks and other safeties do it better. And at that point, when I look at the ball skills, there was a few times, including in the game that they did lose, where I'm thinking to myself, that should have been a pick by him, or that should have been a knockaway by him. And he was a little bit late to the ball. Not saying that you're wrong, but it's very debatable.
If you want to talk about
JL Skinner's the guy you want this year.
Yeah, I was about to say,
knock
you want to
someone's
knock
block off.
Yeah, JL will hit you like a ton.
I haven't watched it yet. I just haven't. Listen,
you might like
y'all gave me like 10 names in like the matter of 4 minutes. I was like, God.
One Pride 40 loves JL Skinner.
I like JL.
I haven't watched him that much. From what I'm hearing, he's going to be like 6'3", 6'4", 220. Is that right? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
He's a fridge that moves like a ballerina. That's the way to say it.
I'm gonna tell you, I haven't
a fridge that moves like a ballerina.
140 has been talking about him for a couple months. And I haven't had a chance to watch him yet, so I apologize, One Pride, because I know that you like the guy, and I haven't even watched him yet, so I'm sorry about that.
I mean, speak of the 90s team, we used to have Refrigerator Perry.
Hey. I'm not I'm not mad at anybody. But Steve-O says, that's right, Anthony. The only way I'm switching a first-round draft pick position is tackle to guard. Besides that, don't switch position. I think you're gonna you keep playing around. If Okuda ain't taught you nothing yet, you're gonna learn today. Okay, just go ahead and move over to safety. Watch him live his best life, and then you will understand. I'm just gonna tell you right now. So you can play the game. I'm just telling you. Watch what happens. Mark my words. He's gonna go to the combine. They're gonna do all these cool, great things, and then somebody's gonna be like, "Yeah, brother, you a safety." I'm telling you, because everybody was talking the same trash about Greedy Williams, and I told people Greedy was not who you thought he was, and I'm pretty sure Crimson can contest to this. I took a lot of heat for saying Greedy Williams didn't even look greedy to me. It didn't like he wanted to eat at all.
Dude, back in the day, that was like your first hot take, and everyone wanted your head. That and the Montez Sweat thing, that was what everyone wanted.
And I was right. I was right. I also was right about this too, that we should have took a defensive back because our secondary suck. This is when people talk about we got Kirby, I'm like, you don't forget how many big plays he's given up.
You need the depth. That's the thing. I mean, if you lose Kirby or you lose Tracy, guess who you get? You get Juju, and Iffy, who is not a safety. I'm sorry.
It just is what it is. Perry Ball says, are we bringing back Deshaun? No, we should not.
I was going to ask the same exact question.
No, we should not. Let Elliott walk. Per usual, he followed his usual suspect procedure and was hurt damn near every time he touched the field. And even though he would try to come back just so he can show that he had a start and he was in the game, he never finished most of them games. And the injuries is too much. I can't.
How do you feel about Cam Smith? I don't know how I feel about him.
Cam Smith.
Cornerback from
USC, South Carolina, but USC. They call it. South
You mean Caleb? Wait a minute, ain't that Caleb USC?
No. When I say USC, I'm talking South Carolina.
I'm like, wait a minute, ain't USC Caleb Williams?
Corner out of South Carolina. I call it.
I don't know him. I gotta go and watch it again. My college viewing was very short this year. I was in a position, or I should say, in a state of mind where I was more concerned about getting my mental together. So I didn't really dive into too much college ball as I would like. So I was like, hey, draft a tackle for Tennessee, move Sewell to left tackle, trade deck. No. Don't do that. Don't mess up a good thing. Go and look, Kansas City had to deal with Eric Fisher. They was not happy.
You need to have chemistry with your O-line. Chemistry is a really important thing when it comes to developing O-lines.
What do y'all think about Christian Gonzalez? Again, this is an open forum for y'all to ask any questions. We got about 2 more minutes and we out of here. My thing with Christian Gonzalez is this. again, I'm finna say some more controversial stuff, but that's probably the most fortunate football player I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's interesting. I'll say
I
that.
feel like more things accidentally happen to him than him actually making it happen. And once you go past that one play where the quarterback throws it to triple coverage and he runs underneath to get that interception, I don't see a guy who's very aggressive at the line of scrimmage. I don't see a guy who is ball aware. I know he's got certain stats and interceptions and stuff. But no.
I'm hearing he's going to light up the combine. I'm hearing he's going to be like a physical freak. He's going to be like 6'2", 6'3", 205. I'm hearing he's going to run under 4.3 at like 205. And if he does that, some team's going to fall in love with him. But I've watched him a little bit, and I wasn't that impressed.
I mean, I liked him better than Keely Ringo.
Yeah, I just wasn't impressed with him. When I'm not trying to insult the guy. I walked away watching a lot of the Gonzalez stuff, and I just felt like that's it. I want so bad to say things differently, but I'm like, that's it. Like
I said, go Emmanuel Forbes. Join the Church of Forbes. I'm telling you, you'll love him.
Like I said,
I'm gonna start watching him because I've been hearing different things. Like, is he a first round guy? Is he second round guy? I'm gonna watch some film on him. I'm gonna take you up on it.
Oh yeah,
all right. My man Marcus Willis says, "What up, Luke? What's going on, Mark? What's going on, baby? You all right, sir? Hope you all is well with you. I know Jackson, you got a lot of questions, but I'm not gonna be able to hit every last one of them. So I'm fortunate. I got to tell you that. Branch, best tackler in college football, though. In the secondary, tackling is important. I don't want to take away from the idea of him being a good tackler. However, there is so much more I would rather have. Like, one of my favorite plays from Kirby Joseph is a play that doesn't involve an interception. It involves a poorly underthrown ball, but his ability to not only get back deep enough from where he was at, but to stretch out and knock the ball away.
You're talking Aaron Rodgers
Yep.
throw.
It was my favorite play. It was my favorite play. I was absolutely stoked. Even my favorite play from Hutch had nothing to do with interceptions or nothing to do with sacks. It didn't have anything to do with that. It was a particular game against the Bears where he completely just blew it up and made a tackle in the backfield. And for some reason, after he did that, they just stopped running over there. I was like, good job. Good job. So I'm not picky. I look for the small things, and it just is what it is. But it's more than just that. That's all I'm saying. We're definitely bringing Elliott back. How do I tell you? If we do, then, I'm going to question a lot of people. That's all I'm going to say. I do not look at this draft and tell me why are you bringing them back. Look at the free agents and tell me why you're bringing them back. Look at your team currently. You got Tracy Walker. You got Kirby Joseph. Why are you bringing back Elliott?
Well, if he gets hurt, do you want to do another episode of Juju?
Well, if he gets hurt, then you should already have a young stud behind him waiting. I mean, you clearly moved Iffy there for some strange reason, and you're probably going to add another guy there because I think you need to do so.
I hope they draft a safety. JL Skinner all aboard. Also, really interested in Isaiah Land. That would be an interesting 5th or 6th.
Again, I'm not killing it. I'm just saying. All right. We at 202. I want to get into the final thoughts. I hope Rumble is back. I know he said he had to get that grub. Rumble, you back? No, he's not back. Okay. Hold on. Let me see. I mean, one more. Craig says, yeah, but Houston be as good without Hutchinson. Annie Hutchinson did get robbed. Didn't have the same amount of interceptions as Sauce. This is the thing that y'all don't understand. Okay. I understand that Sauce didn't have as many interceptions as Aiden Hutchinson. I get it. A DN getting interceptions is a rare thing, right? And I understand how that should score extra points. But the reality is nobody looks at an edge rusher to get interceptions. They look at an edge rusher to harass and disrupt the quarterback. And the reality is this. is when you looked at Aiden Hutchinson for a lot of those games, for all this talk about pressure and things like that, he wasn't always harassing the quarterback. It just wasn't happening. I'm sorry. And because of that, that is a knock on him. And in the case of Sauce, the cornerback position has a higher learning curve than an edge rusher. And to me, to take away half a field and force a team to go one way is absurd. I think he only gave up one catch over 50 yards.
What was one of the things they were mentioning to you? I remember, Luke, during that time when they were saying he was young, they were saying he was like top in pressures or something like that.
Yeah, because they couldn't point out the stat that most people look at when it comes to an edge rusher, which is tackles for a loss and sacks. And when you don't have those two numbers, people look at you differently. In fact, to kind of put it in a little bit more perspective, this is gonna piss a lot of people off. Aiden Hutchinson did not have a better rookie year than Ndamukong Suh. And if he didn't have a better rookie year than an interior D tackle, I don't know how we can say he got robbed. That's weird.
He did better than Chase Young, and he got rookie of the year.
But see, you got to look at that year though.
True,
nobody did nothing that year.
I'm just giving Aiden his credit. I'm giving Aiden his credit.
I mean, he had a good year, but I'm just saying that nobody did that. You know, nobody did anything that year.
Suh was a monster, man.
But that's what I'm saying. But like, I'll argue with anybody that Suh had a better rookie year.
He did.
Than Aiden Hutchinson, because from the very beginning, what he did don't show on stat sheets. That's all I'm saying. Perry Ball says, "Hey Luke, do you think Aiden Hutchinson won't get better or can't?" I think he can get better, but we're just talking about the rookie year. His rookie year was good. It wasn't rookie of the year worthy. That's all. All right, let me go down the list. Dan, my man Dan from Dan Talks Football, who is linked in my description and is also it's attached onto my channel as one of the featured channels.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
No problem. Give the people your final thoughts.
Man, I just want to tell everybody, man, I'm basically going to go deep into the draft for the next couple months. And when I look at the draft, the number one thing that sticks out is Detroit at 6. So for all you Lions fans, I want to hear from everybody. What do you think? Because I heard from Luke, and I think he's right. I think he's 100% right. I think if you got to trade down. But if you don't trade down, you're stuck at 6. I think you take a quarterback, but I want to hear from all you guys, and please inform me what you think. Somebody put in, is there any veterans that you can get on free agent contract? Look at my Kansas City Chiefs. One, Thornhill plays free safety. Kind of a disappointment. He's going to be let go. That's why I kind of like Antonio Johnson, but you may want to take some look at him. But the thing is, though, he's a true free safety. He's not a strong safety, so I don't know how he fits in with Joseph. But yeah, for all you Lions fans, man, please, everybody hit me up and let me know what you guys think the Lions are going to do at 6 and at 18.
And I cannot wait. I had to go through and check this thing a few times. For all the people who participated in all my polls for grades, I cannot wait to show you the results of this thing. It is very interesting and telling when you add it all up. Let's go into my man Crimson Shadow. Give the people your final thoughts.
I mean, hey, I appreciate all you guys. Thank you. I'm glad to see you're back, Luke. I hope everything's going well with you and your family.
Yeah.
We've been through a lot.
It was nice to meet you, Dan. First time meeting you for the first time. It's good.
Hey, nice meeting you too, man. Congrats on beating cancer. That's fucking awesome. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. Over here, you good.
Seriously, that's a
no. You're good. I'm not monetized or anything.
Like,
I don't take a single penny. I just want to leave it open so people can enjoy
Let
talking
that,
sports.
Wait till the last two hours of throwing that bomb out there, man.
You're good. You're good. And plus, that was one worthy of an F-bomb. That it is.
It was, man. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see you too, Anthony. It's been a long time since I talked to you. Rumble, I don't know where you're at, but you're beautiful too. I love the beard.
Good.
And we'll see where the draft goes. It's probably going to change when the free agency hits. Who knows what we pick up? Who knows who resigns? It'll shape what we do. So we'll go about it. We'll see. And, hopefully next year we'll, upset. And hopefully Aaron Rodgers goes to the Jets or retires.
I ain't mad at you, man. My brother, who, I don't know if y'all can see the resemblance, but I had to put the hoodie on because, you know, he was making me look bad. You know, my bald head wasn't quite going well. But then here come Dan with a good bald head too. So I can't, you know, got here trying to shame me and stuff. But Anthony from RachelMarieSports UK, man, to get people your final thoughts.
Yeah, I just want to echo what Crimson said there. It's good to have you back, Luke. I miss doing these shows with you, so hopefully,
appreciate it.
Hopefully everything's all right with you now, and you, Crimson, as well. So, you know, again, congrats on that there. And then, yeah, just in general for the people, I guess it's draft season now. So Luke always ends these streams with a very important piece of information, which is do your research. You know, draft is coming up now. Honestly, go in, do your research on these guys. The off season, don't put much stock in the combine stuff that's coming up there. Go watch the college tape. Go find the guys you like. College tape never lies. The off season does. So, you know, let's look forward to it. Let's look. A lot of good players coming out this year. I'm looking forward to reviewing loads of them. So, gonna be good fun. But yeah, as I said, as Luke says, do your research.
Yeah, 100%. And again, this is the time where everybody should question everything. I should be questioned. Every other YouTuber should be questioned. Every so-called professional draft guru should be questioned. This is the questionable season. And I think that that's allowed and should be allowed. I'm all for it. I don't have all the answers, but what you cannot do is watch highlights and then come talk to me. I'm gonna hurt your feelings because I'm not going off of highlights. I'm trying to see on a snap to snap basis what are they doing. Everybody looks good in the highlight. If you took the highlights of me when I played football, oh my God, I look like the second coming of like Lawrence Taylor, minus the cocaine, right? Like, but if you took it snap by snap, there was a lot of things in my game that I was not good at. And one of the things that I was not good at was coverage. If a guy come out the backfield on me, he won. Just plain and simple. I had nothing for you. I was 100% a run stopper. You can blitz the hell out of me, but I knew my weaknesses and I knew what my strengths were. But you know me, I can't end every show unless I do it on a positive note. I'm back, people. I will be making videos for players. Here's my one rule. If there's a player you want me to look at, feel free to comment in the video on the player that you want me to look at, and I'll try to get a video about it. But don't send me a person that is not a direct need for the Lions. So please don't come to me asking me to take a look at people like edge rushers. I don't believe we need an edge rusher, and I'm not wasting my energy on edge rushers. Don't come talking to me telling me that, oh, man, we need another right tackle. I'm not looking at a right tackle. If you're telling me he's a right tackle who you believe should be a guard, which I don't know why you would say that, but I'll take a glimpse at that. But outside of that, do not bring me anybody that is not a direct need for the team. Positive note today. Today's positive quote comes from an old couple. I don't know their name. I was watching a video and they were telling the story about how they've managed to have such a long marriage. And they have been married over 64 years. That is impressive as hell in today's age. 64 years. And when the question was asked, how do you stay married so long? They simply said, we come from an era where something is broken. You don't throw it away. You fix it. And I thought to myself, how much more powerful that statement was, because when something is broken, you don't throw it away, you fix it. I was broken for a moment, people. I could have easily threw it away, and I thought to myself that doesn't fix anything. So what I did was I fixed it. And there's somebody out here right now who's a little broken. There's somebody out here right now when things are not quite going the way that they saw it in their life. There's somebody out here right now who did not know that small setback was the setup for push forward in a new door. Somebody right now needed to know that just because you are broken does not mean you get to be tossed away. It means that you are simply need to be fixed. And being fixed does not make you weak. Being fixed does not make you lesser than. Being fixed means that you are just like everyone else. You're human. You have the same moments, the same emotions, and the same needs and wants that the average human will want. That's what makes life important. Just because you feel broken, just because it seems like it's not going right, just because it seems like so much is on you, does not mean you are to give up and throw yourself away. Please don't just roll over and just stay there. We've got one person out here who beat cancer, another person who beat depression, somebody on here who's in the chat who's beat the monster of suicide. There's another person on here who's beat the monster of homelessness. You are not broken. And if you are, so what? There's always time to fix it. Don't toss yourself away. Simply fix it and watch as others marvel in your greatness. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, subscribe, notification bell. I plan to do more videos. I'm going to try to go live again tomorrow. And I'm also, because I'm trying to see if I can drop this video, but I need to do a little bit more editing for this particular player so I can get this out the way and end this whole conversation on why we should take this one particular D tackle that I do not know why I even got sent this dude, because he is not good. I'm not going to say who he is, but maybe Anthony might be in my head. We're going to leave it alone. We're going to leave it alone.
Is he from Baylor?
We're just going to leave it alone. Some things ain't worth you talking about. But yes, as always, ladies and gentlemen, don't be no chump. Please do your research. I am out, and I am happy to be back.